Don't call me a jagoff.
Yeah, you're a jagoff.
Okay, I got some bad news for you, Perry.
What now?
Tomorrow, I just found this out. So Twitch is doing this special live stream conference for their most popular streamers of 2021, which you qualify for. And it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific. So you got to
I
be
am in the hospital.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Good
cancel that.
day.
You're gonna have to cancel that, unfortunately.
Good day. I'm in the hospital. I'm
Just
not
re,
canceling nothing.
just reschedule it. Just reschedule it.
I'm not canceling a goddamn thing. You
Okay.
son of a bitch.
I'm gonna re,
Last fucking second.
I'm gonna
No
RSVP that you're gonna be
fucking
there.
way. Good night, you jagoff. I'm
I'm
shutting
gonna
it down, you fuck.
I'm gonna RSVP that you're coming. Okay, they'll be very happy to see you,
Goodbye.
Perry. It's
Goodbye.
only the right thing to do for somebody.
Goodbye.
Oh, there he goes. All right, THX guys, thanks for sticking through that. Man, I have no idea how this stream was because I was so God, I'm not a multitask guy by nature, but man, I was just all over the place with this one. So there's a couple little glitches here and there where like the wrong thing played at the wrong time. But as I explained, usually Joey helps out with media share in that he'll just give the thumbs up to vet the videos, and he'll tell me like what's good, what's not good, or what's concerning, or if we should skip one, or what's age restricted or restricted in some other way, and I gotta rip it and play it manually. But good lord, yeah, TomB, you gotta get your technical shit straight. Yeah. So and then there's that, and then a couple of times I literally had to open up Premiere, like Adobe Premiere, and edit edit a video to clip it because to play at the right time it needed to be played. So geez Louise, just a lot of stuff. No, I'm not still sticking. If I sound weird, it's just it's being in this goddamn room, and it's just not an ideal condition. So I'm again, hopefully by the end of the year, which is vastly approaching. It probably won't be by the end of the year. It probably will be early January that I get this room finished. So no, I'm fine. I'm not sick. I was very sick last weekend, Friday. No, I wasn't bad Friday. I was really bad Saturday. Saturday I was in bed all day. Sunday I was bad. Monday I was on the mend, and yeah, I'm fine now. So but if I sound weird, I think it's just this room. That's just anyway. But yeah, so we'll have a good thought for Perry and his colonoscopy tomorrow. And then he's got another thing to do next month, but that's the next month. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna say my usual thing where I'm not gonna do an after hours, but you know what that means. But no, honestly, I can't because my head's spinning. I've been up since like 6:30 too, and unlike Perry, I didn't have the luxury of a nap. Um, but what do you guys think about media share moving to Friday? Because I was actually thinking as of January, playing around with the schedule a bit, and I think media share would work better on a Friday. So and earlier too, and earlier too. What's my favorite gray of snow tire chains? I wouldn't know. I don't know. Apparently, according to Big Bear, you do need them, but I just can't imagine. I talked to several people that said they've never used them. I don't know. Mailbag would be another day. It would be Media Share Friday, and then still do mailbag on another day. And I don't know, not a mailbag hybrid. No, it would just be Media Share Friday. And I'm thinking of starting it at 2 p.m. Pacific rather than 5 p.m. But I'm playing with it. I'm playing with it. Did I ever post a chest waxing on Patreon? No, but that's coming very soon. No, it took a lot longer than usual for a lot of reasons. Because I was working with a lot of different, not a lot of different, two different video cameras that didn't necessarily sync up together. the way they normally do. So it was just an extra pain in the ass. Plus, I've been working on this other. I had this other project come up last week that I've been working on, that non PCL related. That's taken a lot of my time. So I haven't had a lot of spare time to do PCL stuff. But I've been trying the best I can. But yeah, that'll come. That'll be coming. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the schedule going forward, and what we're gonna we'll probably play around with it. I'm guessing you're gonna see a lot of sorry. I'm guessing you'll see a lot of things in January that are just like toying with new times, and I don't think days. I think we'll stick to the same days, but I just think it's. I think media share would work better on a Friday than a Wednesday. Without any details, health wise, is Perry doing okay? Yes, he's fine. Yeah, I think I mentioned last week he got some blood work done, and they said he was like low iron, or on the verge of being what do you call it again when you're low iron? It's like there's a word for it. God, I can't think of it now. I mentioned it last week. I can't think of it now. Anemic? Is that it? Anyway, so this just means he's got to get more iron in his diet and everything. So no veganism for him. But yeah, he's fine. He's doing this other thing where, not to get too specific, he's cleaning out his pipes a little bit next month. Anemia, yeah. Yeah, but it's all elective. The colonoscopy is not the elective thing. The thing he's doing next month is more elective, where he's like opening up his canal a little more. He's already scheduled it and everything. So, that's that. But yeah, other than that, he's the picture of health. Don't we all wish we could be so much like Perry? But yeah, so that's it. But yeah, no diabetes or anything like that. No other problems. Just the anemia, which can be course corrected. Anal bleaching. Can you imagine? Oh my god. Yeah, it's funny you say that, Liz. Liz says more steakhouse visits paid for by TomB. He's gone to 3. If I don't know if are we counting are we counting Outback as a steakhouse? But if we are, he's been to 3 in the past week for steak dinners. Is Perry going to come out of sedation to a McDonald's delivery? No, I thought about that, and I think I'm going to cap it with the Thanksgiving one was very, very tricky to pull off, and I think I'm going to cap it there for now. I think I because at this point they're just going to be diminishing returns. Where the one I regret is not getting a McDonald's when he went to the courthouse. That would have been great. But yeah, I think I'm going to take a breather on the IRL deliveries for now. And I don't think it wouldn't really work. Plus, his cousin's going to be with him. And I don't want to subject Mark to that. So, yeah, it's okay. Okay, so yeah, if you're counting Outback, then he's been to 3 this week. And all he does is eat out now. He doesn't cook at home anymore. So, but his ever since he's been on those iron pills, I have noticed a difference in him. So it's definitely a good thing. Should get Perry to do a nitro mustard to match his ceiling. Yeah, we did mention that on Sunday. He did not take that too well. A lot of people were asking me how Perry was on Monday. He was not talking to me. He did leave me a voicemail, and I didn't even retrieve it until like Tuesday, because I was a little burnt out on Monday myself. I was still recovering, and but I was wondering how he was doing on Monday after we closed out Sunday night. And yeah, he was pretty pissed. And first thing he said was PCL was over, and then he was saying, "Do not contact me until Wednesday's stream. That means I do not talk to you today. I do not talk to you tomorrow. Got it?" Like, you don't even need to hear the voicemail. That's pretty much exactly the way it was. He's like, "Got it? You will contact me at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Good day. Like he was just like so disgusted with me, as if it was my fault. It wasn't my fault at all. Well, maybe a little bit, but anyway, that's he was pretty he was pretty pissed off. Uh, which I kind of get it. I'd be a little pissed off too, but I would have cleaned that shit by now. Now he's like let it sit there. I'm sure that's going to be somebody else's problem. But I did notice that huge crack in his ceiling, and I lasered in on that because he sent me a couple of pictures. I should probably post those of what the ceiling looked like, and I just noticed this huge crack in the ceiling, and I'm like, man, that's not good. And he said, yeah, that was from an earthquake years ago. So, you know. That's just Perry. Another reason why you should move, because you don't want that second floor collapsing in on him. His excuse made no sense. Really, you don't say, Mumbles. Let it dry to clean it easier. Yeah. The last time Garrett was there, all he did was back up Perry every time and helped him with packages, and he still goes absolutely crazy at the idea of being there. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, that's such a hot button thing for him, is the Garrett thing. I don't get it. But yeah, and then why is Perry moving in the first place? I don't know. I pick a reason. The whole world knows his address. It's a shitty apartment. He deserves a bigger space. He's been swatted a number of times by the police and the fire department. Even though at this point they're pretty cool with it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Yeah, he gave Garrett a lot of fist bumps. By the way, I'm going to give Garrett a fist bump because those were good little breaks when we had the intermissions when Perry was pooping to show those video highlights. That was really cool. And normally I would edit those long shit breaks out, but I'm not going to because those clips were really good. So that was good. Does Tom have any idea who Don Cherry is? Canadian legend? No. If he's a hockey person, I don't know. I don't really care about hockey, so no, I don't know who Don Cherry is. If he, I'm assuming hockey because you said Canada, but I don't know. Belushi says it'd be the best storyline if there was another earthquake and the building collapsed and Perry survived by hiding under the boat. Yeah, that boat. He's got to take up that offer at Dr. Gunk too, which is a very serious offer. He's just got to keep it another 30 days and he gets paid more money. But again, he doesn't think logically in the moment, which I guess is why, everybody loves Perry. So. How are merch sales going? I ordered a shirt and a hoodie for my wife. She says she hates Perry, but will watch the stream with me and wears the hoodie all the time. That's really cool. Cool. Yeah, they're doing well. They're doing well. And speaking of hoodies, we're going to add a new hoodie, like a thicker hoodie. The one on there now is like a kind of a California hoodie. Like it's very light. I like it personally. I got the gray one for myself. I will add new, and we're going to add more stuff like color shirts and everything like that, which are more expensive, but. Yeah, that's the thing with the boat. He'd have to keep it in the kitchen. That's Dr. Gunk's stipulation. He's very strict on that. Dr. Gunk is not budging off that. He's very, very, very specific that the placement for the next 30 days has to be in the kitchen. And if Perry wants to cook or anything like that, which he doesn't do, but if he needs to be in the kitchen for any reason, he's got to move the boat out into the dining room and then move the boat back in. So that'll be interesting. Somebody says, I give it a week until Perry leaks his new address when he moves. I don't think he'd be that bad with it, to be honest with you. I think He would eventually give it out to somebody, but I don't think he would do it on the stream. He'd eventually give it out to the wrong person. Autograph pictures for sale soon. Maybe. I don't know. Is that something people want? If it's something people want, then I'll think. Can he destroy the boat on Friday? Yeah, technically he can destroy it tomorrow because that's the date tomorrow. Although I didn't tell him that, but I really think he should renew it for another 30 days. Plus, it's fun to look at. I mean, I have fun looking at it. He's got to get new 8x10s too. All his 8x10s are so old. Does John really want the boat? No. Somebody wrote in on I guess Friday or Sunday as John D saying that, hey, don't kill the boat. I would like it. So he actually called on. That's the other thing too that happened over the past 2 days. So I guess somebody on Sunday like wrote in as John D. And it was like, man, what was it? It was like, hey, Perry, I'm working for you now, and I'm your new moderator, and so Perry called John and asked him when he started working. Oh, that was you, Belushi? Like Perry actually called him the next day and was like, did you call in? Not did you call in? Are you working for me now? That's what he said. And John didn't know what I was talking about. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. But it was great. It was great that he called him up to clarify. What do I drive now? I drive nothing. I don't have a car, Korth. I'm seeking to get a car this next year. I've been borrowing two different cars. It's so pathetic. I've been like, yeah. I was driving my mom's car for a while because she wasn't using it. So yeah, I have to get a car. It's something I've been putting off. So, 2022 goals is a car, not a truck like Perry wants. Get a Kia. I might get a Kia, honestly. I might get a Kia. I'm looking at Kia. I'm looking at Volkswagen. But yeah, those are my actual top two choices. Not a Toyota. I wouldn't get a Toyota. I wouldn't get a Toyota just because. And I've had Toyota. But yeah, I hate car shopping. I hate. I'm not a car guy. At all. Like I'm like a gadget guy. Like I'll obsess and research like audio equipment all day long. But as far as cars, I have to rely on other people to give me good advice on like how to even get a lease. Like I've never had a lease. And I lived in the city for a long time. I didn't need a car. You know, when you live where I live now, you need a car. So I definitely feel it. There's a couple of times where I've really needed it and I didn't have access to one in that moment, and it sucks. It sucks. So, you know, I have friends that are car guys that I'm really good friends with, and I rely on their sage wisdom to give me advice on buying a car, whether it's used or lease or whatever. I never understood the concept of a lease, honestly. That's how dim-witted I am with cars. Yeah, whatever car you get is irrelevant as long as there's a good set of snow chains. Yeah, I'm gonna get some snow chains on my car. Can you imagine? Yeah, although maybe he does need them if he ever goes to Big Bear, but you and I both know he's not going. Because I'd like to get deep into March when it's like officially the season is over, and then he just resets to Thanksgiving Day. I'm in the snow, motherfuckers. I didn't get to go this year because of various reasons, but Thanksgiving Day, opening day, I'm in the snow. But we'll see what happens. To be perfectly honest, I like the idea of him going with John D, because at least he's going with somebody that'll look after him. I don't like the idea of him going by himself like a moron, and then getting himself in trouble. But I know John will at least look after him, and John and his son. Do I live in New York City? No, not now. I used to live in New York City. I don't live in New York City anymore. I've lived in Brooklyn, Queens, New York City, and now Long Island. I live on Long Island because I need to be close to my parents to live on Long Island. So I live about I live closer to Queens, but technically it's Long Island. Tom, can you please cut Perry off so he can't sneak off to the mountain out of spite and end up dead like Sonny Bono? Yeah, I know that's kind of what I feel. Like in a weird way, I do feel that. Like he's spiteboarding. Like this is spiteboarding. This is because of me. This is because of you. This is because of the stream and the whole discussion that came about with his tattoo and the whole thing. Yes, it's on Long Island, not in Long Island. It's in Staten Island, but on Long Island. That's the way it goes. I always correct people that say that the wrong way. But yeah, so he's spiteboarding, and now I feel like, Jesus, I might be responsible for his death. If he goes on, like in his brain right now, he's had this passion for snowboarding all this time, and it's not true. He's only we ignited his passion for snowboarding out of spite. Perry and John cruising down the mountain in John's new boat that I organized for him. Yeah, that'll be great. But yeah, man, I don't know. He clearly has no coordination whatsoever. So. Oh, and by the way, I spent last night when I was done with this other thing I was working on, I went through that Perry stuff that we played on Friday, the Perry the skateboarding stuff. So I'm gonna upload that on YouTube within the next week or so. And it's a couple of things. It's like little promos. It's longer. There's B-roll thing that I found of him, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like Perry's skateboarding promo that I don't even know where these were destined for. From 2008, even though it looks like it was from the 90s, video quality wise. It was definitely mastered on VHS because it's very low res, and there's like some telltale signs of like how the video jitters. I'm like, oh, that's VHS. So I'm gonna get those up on YouTube for all to enjoy. Some of them are gonna get flagged to copyright, but sometimes you just gotta take the hit on it. Like even with the 1212 thing, I was looking for a good funeral march thing to play, but nothing beats that Undertaker's theme. And I tested it. I said, let me upload some random video with the Undertaker theme in it, the classic Undertaker theme, and see what WWE does to it. I knew they were going to copyright it, but do you get a strike for it? Does the video become unplayable, or are you just not allowed to monetize it? And it turned out it was the latter. You're just not allowed to monetize it. So I go, that's fine. I'll take the hit on that. So it's worth having the song. So I used that. But in this one, in the video, the skateboard video, it's got Queen on it. It's got a bunch of songs that we're playing in the skate park that are definitely going to get flagged. And they put in some music, like American Made or whatever, that's in there. So I'm sure that'll all get copyrighted. As long as it doesn't have like a hard copyright hit. It shouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, I got to edit it, which I don't want to do. But it's all good stuff. And there's more videos I got to go through, like stuff that I haven't even transferred. He's got a lot of stuff like that. I found a good interview with him that was done on some, I don't know where. It must have been some online thing. Like he was interviewed, at a film festival that I want to put out. So there's just a lot of stuff in the Perry a lot more stuff in the Perry archives that I thought were possible. In addition to his Comedy Purac Resurrection show, which is, is what it is. But I want to get those transferred and put those up too. Probably just on Patreon because YouTube that won't fly on YouTube because it's got too much music on it. But yeah, that's what it was. Well, what's everybody's Christmas plans or holiday plans? Anybody doing anything big on New Year's Eve that doesn't involve watching Perry? Because I know what I'm doing New Year's Eve. I'm going to be here. I don't know if we can do that record length stream this year, but yeah. And this might be one of the last after hours. Even though I said there's not going to be an after hours, and it's going to be short. I'm just looking at the schedule. Like I know I can't do on Friday's going to be tricky because I got to be up early Saturday. And then next week you got Wednesday, and then Christmas Eve, which I'm going out with my family Christmas Eve to dinner. That's gonna be weird after PCL all day because that's gonna start at 2 p.m. East time, 11 a.m. Pacific, and then I gotta go out to family dinner, and then there's nothing until New Year's Eve. So Joey's gonna be here, plus watching Twilight Zone. Yes. Do you watch the Twilight Zone with commercials, though? I have a hard time with the Twilight Zone marathons because it just seems like every year the episodes get more and more chopped up to fit in the commercials. And there's certain episodes of Twilight Zone that I love, and there's like literal segments missing because back when they aired in the early 60s, TV, it's like half-hour TV, like it would be like the episode is like 26 minutes with 4 minutes of commercials. Now you're at the point where the episodes for a 30-minute show are pretty much 20 minutes with 10 minutes of commercials. So they still have to, when you see like an older show on TV, whether it's an hour long, like old hour long shows, used to be, they I think the runtime would be 52 minutes or something like that. And now, God, you're lucky to get 40 minutes and then 20 minutes of commercial time. So in order to accommodate that, when they air it on whatever, they either have to slightly speed up the video, time compression they call it. So it's like slightly sped up, even though you don't notice it, and that's to accommodate more commercials. And they just like literally chop it. Like they'll find segments to chop out to fit in more commercials, and I just cannot abide by that. My favorite Twilight Zone episode is probably Walking Distance, where the guy is in upstate New York and he pulls into a gas station to get his car repaired, and he goes for a stroll while the car is being repaired, and he ends up being in the town where he grew up, but then he goes back in time, and sees himself as a kid. That's probably my favorite Twilight Zone, but there's so many to choose from. I also like Nick of Time with William Shatner, where he's in the diner with the fortune telling thing, where he's like obsessed with the fortunes. That's a great one too. Vink says, "Thank you for tuning in to Mike Davis on Red Bar Radio. All I consume is his archive stuff in Perry." That's cool. I've been listening to a lot of Red Bar from I think I am listening to 2018 at this point, because it's a chunk that I hadn't listened to, and there's a lot of good, where I am listening to it, there's a lot of good stuff, like Joe Matarese stuff that I never caught the first time. So yeah, Surf Man is a classic too. Yeah, that's classic, but it's just, to me, that's like I don't know, liking Satisfaction from, shouting out Satisfaction at a Rolling Stones concert. It's like, that's fine, they're gonna play it, but give me the deeper cuts. I feel that way about Talking Tina too. Living Doll, Night Call's a good one. There's some really bad ones. You never see the bad ones on New Year's Eve or the marathons. There's a lot of ones that aren't that good. Toy Telephone's good too. Yeah. Chuck says, "Love the stream." Thank you. But yeah, it's a good. I have a hard time. New Year's Eve, there's a couple of really good marathons. There's the honeymoon in New York, at least they do the Honeymooners on Channel 11, which I have a hard time not watching. And that, see, if there's a Twilight Zone I'm not necessarily engaged in, I'll watch the Honeymooners. And then there's another channel that does the Odd Couple marathon, which is great too. So I usually go between the three of those. And it's more like I probably with doing like Perry Caravello Live, I'll probably watch it, some of it during the day, and then catch it like as I'm like laying in bed New Year's Day or something like that. And I never ever went out. I not that I never ever. I used to go out on New Year's Eve when I was younger, but it's such an annoying thing because as I grow older, I really hate crowds, and it's such amateur hour. It's like St. Patrick's Day in New York City. It's like, the seasoned drinkers and the seasoned people that like to have a good time. We go out whenever the hell we want. We don't need a day for it. And even though I'm Irish, I can't stand it. St. Patrick's Day. So I stay home, and usually my MO is I will get like appetizers and shit. Like I'll get like good appetizers, like oysters, or like shrimp cocktail, fancy stuff. And then like, yeah, watch Twilight Zone, watch a movie or something like that. Now it's a little different because we're doing this. Although I think it's a late start. It's 8 p.m. Pacific, so that'd be an 11 p.m. start on the East Coast for New Year's. But that's the way New Year's rolls. So we'll see. We'll see how it is. I love Vic Morrow in the Twilight Zone movie. Yeah, well, that's a good segment in the Twilight Zone movie. But yeah, that's what killed him. The one thing I don't like, not the one thing, I don't like a lot of things about the Twilight Zone movie is I don't know why they were all remakes of classic episodes. I would have liked it if they would have made new segments. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Liz. I think New Year's Eve is one of the worst holidays. Yeah, it might be the worst holiday. Unless you're staying home and chilling out, then it's fine. But I remember, like, there was always this chase with, like, friends where, oh my God, let's go to this place, let's go to this bar. And mind you, I've had many good New Year's Eves out with friends in the city or wherever I was. I had a great New Year's Eve once in Dublin, and it was great. But I couldn't recreate that now. And now it's just packed because everybody's trying to... You feel like if you don't go out and do something with a large crowd that you're not ringing in the New Year properly. I think that's bullshit. I think if you could be by, I mean, there's plenty of them I spent by myself, just chilling out, or with your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, and just hang out, have some good food, treat yourself to shit that you don't normally treat yourself to. That's what I do. Is like I'll treat myself to stuff that I don't normally indulge in. Like I'll have like caviar, on New Year's Eve, but it's the only time I have it. Not that that's super expensive. I'm not getting like beluga. I'm getting like, whatever freaking caviar you get in a jar. And I have like little, little pieces of bread or something like that. I'll just have like little things that I only have on New Year's Eve. My friend in California, and I only went to this once because I don't live in California, obviously, he does a cool thing. He has a party on New Year's Day, and it starts around like 2 p.m. And it goes into like, and he has like dinner and, like not dinner, but he has like food and stuff like that. And I always thought that was a cool thing because you avoid the New Year's Eve thing, but it's late enough on New Year's Day that whatever you did on New Year's Eve, you're kind of recovered from, and it's kind of like a chill party. And I thought if I ever had like a party, I would do it on New Year's Day, not New Year's Eve. Did I start watching The Fugitive? No, not yet. I'm not in a position to watch any television right now. The only thing I watch right now is YouTube. That's the only thing I watch. I don't watch any shows. I started watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I couldn't get into this season, so I stopped. Maybe I'll go back to it. But yeah, no, I can't focus. I got too many things going on. Like this other project I'm working on is taking up a ton of my time. So, one year you worked at a Chinese restaurant in New Year's Eve free food and karaoke. I did. I went to a Chinese karaoke place by accident on New Year's Eve once, and it was actually really fun. And I was out of there at like 12:15. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I just feel like even people like, what are you doing on New Year's Eve? It's like as if you have to plan something. Have I actually seen Littlest Hobo? No, but I've seen it. I mean, I know what it is. I'm pretty steeped in TV of that era, and I know exactly what it is. But no, I've not seen a full episode. That would be cool, Mo. Yeah, like if Pluto played old New Year's Eve broadcast from decades ago. Like even I know Pluto does the Johnny Carson channel. Like Carson, they weren't. I mean, I'm sure they were pre-taped, but Carson always did a New Year's Eve show where he dressed in a tux, and then it would cut away to whatever ball was dropping somewhere, and that was cool. It'd be cool to see. Like I'd like to see TV from like like live things from like the 60s or 70s. It's a man on the show, a run show with a dog, right? It's kind of like I used to watch the show Here's Boomer, was a similar show. Here's Boomer was a dog that went from town to town and helped people, and then he would run away at the end and go to another town in the next episode. Yes, it was a dog on the run show instead of the man on the run show. Yeah, I'm with you, Liz. It's and I always hated when I was in a relationship, and my girlfriend or whatever was really into like. There's two holidays. I always judge a woman on this. Like, if you're really into New Year's Eve and you're really into Valentine's Day, you are not for me because I hate both because both are completely manufactured, and both are for dummies. Really, when you break it down, it's for dummies. It's dummies who are not interesting during every other day during the year. And then New Year's Eve is made out to be this like party night where you just gotta go all out. And it's for boring people. And that's how boring people spend that. You really, the worst is comedy clubs. Comedy clubs on New Year's Eve are the worst thing ever. Ever, 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 ever. They're the worst. Like, I get this thing in the mail. Oh, I don't know how I got on their goddamn list. Actually, I don't have it in the mail anymore because I don't have my new address. Thank God. But it was this comedy club called Governors on Long Island. And I went there a couple times to see Gilbert Gottfried. And I must have filled something out there one time. Like one time years ago. And they send me things. And it's like, hey, book early for New Year's Eve. We're booking up. It's like, could you imagine going to some shitty comedy club on New Year's Eve, watching shitty comics? You're not even seeing headliners there. God, I envy Hannah so bad. She said she's never been to a comedy club ever. Stick with that. There's no reason to go to a comedy club. They're awful, awful places. Maybe at one time there was some heyday of comedy clubs and they were great. Not anymore. That's over. That's over. But yeah, by the way, if you know anybody, no, you don't like both, Garrett. That's not true. You like Garrett likes Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve? I refuse to believe that. He's just being cute and funny. Do I think they're still sending mail to the? They might be, because I would get them all the time. And it would be free tickets too. They'd send you like physical tickets. And I'd be like, hey, free tickets to see. And it would be like a name you never heard of, or at least I never heard of. Only comedy shows you were at were Norm and Attell. I can respect that. Norm was the only person that would get me to go to a comedy show, but I wouldn't go to a comedy club, even though the last comedy club I was in to see to go to a comedy place was maybe Caroline's in the city, and it was to see Norm. But I'd rather see him at a theater, and of course now you don't have that option, which sucks. Jill went to the Comedy Store on New Year's Eve. Oh my God. Why would you even admit that in front of all these people, Jill? That is not... Oof. Yikes. I honestly... I think I'd rather spend the night in jail than spend it at the Comedy Store on New Year's Eve. Oh, you've been to... See, there's two Governors. There's one in Levittown, and then there's another one, I think, in Belmore. And I've been to both, but and only to see like a comedian, only to see Gilbert. Gilbert Gottfried is the only person that's ever gotten me those places. I think I saw Andrew Dice Clay once because a friend of mine wanted to go, but it was like 2006 Andrew Dice Clay. It wasn't very good. No, Jill, I think you're mistaken. I think you're just trying to think of excuses why you were at The Comedy Store on New Year's Eve. That's not good. Belushi said, "I'm going old chat here." No, there was no event, Jill. You're making that up. There was no event around New Year's Eve ever, 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 ever. You went on your own accord, and you have to live with that. New Year's Eve is fun. What's fun about it, though, Garrett? Like, what's fun about New Year's Eve? I understand the concept of New Year's Eve is interesting because you account for the past year. How was this year? Now, last year was really weird because you were accounting for 2020, which is a very strange year. But okay, I understand that. But the day itself, how was it great? How was it great? Was I a fan of Bill Hicks ever? No, not at all. Not even remotely. And I tried. No. No, and I never saw him live because he died. No, I don't think I was old enough to get into a comedy club when he died. Didn't he die in like 93 or something? Maybe 94? No. So no. I have friends that like swear by him and have tried to get me to listen to his bits, and it's not for me. That sounds awesome. Bernie says he saw Norm in Ottawa years ago at a theater, and his family was in the audience, and he was trying not to swear. That sounds great. Yeah, I'm with Liz. Fuck New Year's Eve. Kind of. I understand, again, assessing the year and, and having a toast. And here's to, look, I'm going to have a toast. Like, hey, here's to PCL in 2022. I hope everybody does well. But I'm all for welcoming in a new year and everything, but not the day itself, not the night, not the forced obligation to have to go out and socialize and be around hordes of people. No, thank you, sir. Wheezy said, "How about a nitro ketchup in the microwave on New Year's Eve before the smash?" I don't know. That might be a little too much. I definitely don't think we can smash the microwave inside the apartment because of all the glass. I think that would be dangerous. No, Bill Hicks. Sorry. I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person. Belushi says he's the kind of comedian that Perry would say he loved, and then you'd tell him one joke he made, and he would say, it's shit, and lean back in his chair. Yeah, you're right. Not for me. But I'm a total comedy snob. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I like very few people. And that doesn't make me saying that doesn't make like, oh, I think I'm so great or whatever. I don't. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I just think it's a dead medium, and it doesn't do anything for me. It's a nice end to the holiday madness, Thanksgiving and Christmas, then New Year's. That's true. I will agree with that. New Year's Eve, New Year's is a good bookend. I like New Year's Day better. I'm a New Year's Day person because I think you can just chill out. Nobody has to work on New Year's Day. You can stay in bed and watch watch the Twilight Zone if you want. You could also go out to eat, and it's not insane. Whereas on New Year's Eve, you want to go out to eat, you got to make those reservations like 6 months in advance. So I don't know. It's tough on stage. Yeah, I've done stand up. I've done it, and it's not for me. But I just think I personally think, it's my personal opinion, I think it's a dead medium. They just haven't announced the time of death yet. But there are still dopes that will. But believe me, all those comedy places will be packed on New Year's Eve. They'll be packed. People will be filling all the seats in all these shitty comedy clubs around the country, and they will pay through the nose to drink their Amstel Lights and their shitty buffalo wings and sit through all the openers and MCs and middlers and alleged headliners, and they'll laugh, and then they'll all ring in the new year together. God, can you imagine being in that room? I'd rather be in the Poseidon Adventure on New Year's Eve, the boat that turned upside down from a giant wave, than be in a comedy store on New Year's Eve. That's how strongly I feel about it. Cora says, I love Tom's snobbish tangents. Yeah. And these are my opinions. These may not be shared by you, and it's fine. Yeah. Felucci says, these paintings are cluttering up my apartment. Perry says as he pulls a candy jar from the 80s out from under his coffee table. By the way, that was totally stolen from somewhere. He doesn't remember how he got it. That's the vase. After hours with Tommy, come for the snobbery. I know. That's why it's funny. So there's my friend and I, who used to do this podcast together. We're doing another podcast, and it's all that kind of. It's all shit like this. I'm like, man, people are gonna hate listening to this because it's just like we're so damn opinionated on everything. But if you agree with the opinions, I guess it's good, and if you don't. That's the thing, though. It's like I don't get offended if people don't like something that I like, and I know like people like this. Like I had this girlfriend. I may have mentioned this before, but like when Friends was popular, like in the '90s or early 2000s, like I hated that show. I never watched it, but I hated it. I hated the concept of it. I hated everything about it, and she loved it. It was her favorite thing. And if we were together on a Thursday night, she had to go in the room alone and watch Friends. And I might say something like sarcastic, like, "Oh, you're gonna go watch Friends or whatever." She would get so mad, as if she was directly involved in the production of the show, like she was the head writer, and I was insulting her work. I'm like, why are you annoyed that I don't like something you like? It's fine. Like she would shit on shit that I like all the time. Like, oh, I don't like this band you like. I don't like this movie. Oh, why do you like this movie? That's fine. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you don't like something that I like. That you're entitled to your opinion, and if your opinion is well made, I might respect it, and I might even be turned. Like you know what, you're right. This thing that I like is pretty shit. And now when you put it that way, but man, she would get so upset. I mean, so it would be like she'd give me an attitude, and then there was this whole thing where she'd be sitting and watching it for 30 minutes, right? And I do whatever I'm doing, like. Whatever I'm doing. I could be playing a video game. I could be doing anything. And then she would come out, and then I'd sarcastically ask her, "So, how was Friends? What happened on tonight's episode? Like did Bobby and Joey get into some kind of fight or whatever? And I deliberately mess up the names." I did Samantha hook up with Barry or whatever, and she would get so upset, like she wouldn't talk to me. She's like, sometimes you're just an asshole. I'm like, why? It's fucking Friends. That was her doing a spiteful dislike on things I like, says Joey. That's probably true. Yeah, she probably liked all those things, but had to get back at me for Friends. I don't understand it. It was just. Yeah, it was just that. Yeah, Sex and the City too. That was another one. I never saw it. I didn't have that kind of visceral thing about Sex and the City because Sex and the City is so obviously for women, and was pay cable. The thing that I hated so much about Friends is it's not so much the show itself. It's like. It was the reporting on Friends, or like when other people talked about Friends, or if you tuned into like Access Hollywood, like we got to visit the set of Friends, and boy did we have a great time, as if everybody in the whole world is excited about Friends. That's what I hate about it, because it was a network show, and it was on, and it was like they made it like it was Seinfeld. No, it's not Seinfeld. It's fucking garbage. I still hate it. I hate it to this day. Here's the plot. A chick fucks a guy for designer shoes. Great writing. That's Sex and the City. Yeah, I've never seen it. And I never will. I just don't... And I don't like when people equate things, and this can be for music or anything. I don't like when somebody puts Friends in the same category as a Seinfeld, as a Cheers. I'm thinking of like network sitcoms of the era, where it's in the same sentence. Or like Entertainment Weekly... we'll do one of these nonsensical lists like the best 20 sitcoms of all time, and Friends is on that list. How is that possible? How is that possible? But whatever, if you like Friends, more power to you. Just don't get upset with me for saying that I don't like it. I'm more passionate about the things I don't like than I am about the things I do like. That's the thing with me. I'm way more opinionated on things I hate than things that I love. Although I am plenty opinionated on things I love too. Dustin says, I don't even like Friends in real life. So the thought of watching the show makes me sick. Yes, I'm threatened by strong women, Liz. You nailed it. That's exactly it. Strong women make me threatened, and I don't like it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh my god, you had to watch Friends with your girlfriend? Oh, you shouldn't agree to that. Never watch. You can look. There's a couple of things you got to do early on in a relationship. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. You have to lay down the law with things that you're not going to do with them. And for me, it's like I'm not going to go see movies that I don't want to see. I'm not going to see some romantic thing. I'm not going to see any musical. I'm not going to see anything resembling a quote unquote chick flick, even though it's kind of a hackneyed term at this point. I'm not going to go with you. Either go by yourself or find somebody else to go with. I'm not doing that, and I'm not watching shows that I don't want to. I don't want to watch. Vince says it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, that's a new. How's the new season? I haven't seen it yet. I'm hesitant to start watching that because the more recent seasons of It's Always Sunny have been not so good. But as a show overall, it's great. Fantastic. I agree with Frasier had great rating. For some reason, I couldn't get into Frasier full bore, but Frasier is a very probably the best spin-off of all time. But for some reason, I couldn't get into it. Friends will say most overrated sitcom Big Bang. Big Bang Theory makes Friends look like Seinfeld. Big Bang Theory is worse. But it's so worse. But I don't think it's respected on the same level as Friends is for some reason. That's what makes Friends so maddening. But I am not going to see Ghostbusters. I think he is going to go see if whoever that lunatic is that keeps on sending the Ghostbusters stuff in, and maybe it's more than one person, but they should just like seriously like hit Perry up and be like, hey, here's $100, go see it and pay for his ticket. But yeah, I wouldn't see it. Joey says another type of movie I will never watch are those movies built around a holiday that has like 15 celebrities in it. Yeah. Saccharine horse shit. I totally agree with you. There's a ton of movies like that. I think all those CBS sitcoms are insufferable. I hated King of Queens. Everybody Loves Raymond. Anything that was on CBS, I don't like, with very rare exception. Am I staying warm? Yeah, I am. I'm wearing a sweater, and it wasn't that cold today in New York. It was not bad, so it's not terrible in this goddamn room. But it's yeah. So Big Bang is for fake geek girls. That's a pretty good assessment of. Well, okay. Well, I'll ask you guys, since you probably know more than me. Aside from It's Always Sunny, what is a actual sitcom, a half-hour comedy? Yes, Two and a Half Men, another piece of shit. Also CBS garbage. What's a half-hour comedy? Not even it's on now, but it's been on in the past 5 years. Is good. Jerry Stiller was great in King of Queens. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off with that. Seriously, all they did was borrow him from Seinfeld. It's Jerry Stiller from Seinfeld on another show. So I don't accept that. Don't give me British shows. I don't like British shows. That's not bad. The only thing CBS ever got right was The Price is Right and Craig Ferguson. I'm hard pressed to argue with that. Hard pressed to argue with that. There might be a CBS show that I liked at some point. Never heard of Workaholics. Never heard of. I've heard of Kenny versus Spenny, but I don't know. Is that animated? Animated doesn't count. Is that animated? Reno 911 is in 5 years. That's a long time ago. Malcolm in the Middle is ages ago, but I agree that's very good. Malcolm in the Middle was ahead of its time. I liked Malcolm in the Middle quite a bit, but that's not recent. I mean, a 30-minute live action comedy show. Curb Your Enthusiasm. We've already said that doesn't count. Big Mouth. It's animated and a little woke. Well, I'm out. But yeah, not animated. Louis, I didn't like. I tried watching that. I don't like Louis C.K. Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, I've seen it, but not enough to have an opinion. Yeah, I did see that they're making a Nash Bridges movie, who knew there was an audience for that? Yeah, South Park I still like. Kenny vs. Spenny had Gavin in it? I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. Big Mouth is garbage. Garrett isn't allowed in my house. Flight of the Conchords is trash. I hated that show. I tried watching that. I had another girlfriend, not a girlfriend, a girlfriend that was obsessed with it and tried to make me watch it. I could not sit through that fucking thing. New Zealand comedy. Ugh, yikes. I like Don Johnson too. Actually, I like Don Johnson. I've never seen Nash Bridges. Tom is not good friends with Gavin. I was friends with Gavin for a while, but no, we're not. We're not friends. Not that we're not that we're on the outs, but we just don't. We're just not friend. We're just not friendly. We don't talk anymore. Good comedy shows are dead. That's kind of where I feel. Yeah, I mean, unless there's, I think all the good comedy shows are in the past. Yeah, Larry Sanders, sure, but that's you're talking 30 years ago practically. So, give me something more current. Police Squad's fine. Yeah, but it's only 6 episodes. Yeah, Gavin McInnes, the journalist, if you want to call him that. Columnist is more like it at one point. Now lunatic. Honestly, I think the best comedy, because nobody's giving any real answers, the best comedy is kind of stuff like, yeah, like I kind of just said it. You call Perry the king of comedy. Like the best comedy is real. I'm almost like verbatim quoting parody. The best comedy is real shit. Uh, but like I laugh at stuff I see on YouTube, there's this YouTube channel I watch. I've probably brought it up before, where it's like it's a stationary camera that's focused on a bridge that it has a warning on it that trucks can't pass under it and they have to turn away. And then mostly rental trucks, they don't pay attention to that sign, and they go under the bridge, and the bridge just annihilates these trucks. And I've honestly laid in bed trying to go to sleep, like watching like an hour of it, an hour of various trucks like hitting into that thing, or like people falling downstairs, or like people doing stupid things in a car, or like stupid criminals being caught. Like real, like reality comedy, I guess, for the lack of a better term, is what makes me laugh now, rather than some staged stupid written thing. Certainly not late night TV. That's dead. I mean, talk about stand up. That's dead. Like that doesn't make me laugh. So, or I still like like old school sitcoms, like All in the Family is from a certain point, or like Honeymooners, or The Odd Couple, stuff like old man stuff that I'll watch. Velcro Man, yeah. I thought when America's Funniest People, when America's Funniest Home Videos first came out, I thought it was brilliant. You thought I was gonna say the people that throw themselves off the bridge, like on the like watch the Golden Gate Bridge, and have people jump off and watch that for comedy. No, I'm not that sick. Thank you very much. Yeah, Tony Hawk waxing Perry. When you guys see that video, that's high comedy. That's fucking good because that's somebody who went for it. But yeah. But anyway, like America's Funniest Home Videos, that came out like what, 89 or something like that, whatever it was. And I remember seeing the first episode, and now I didn't give a shit about Bob Saget or his stupid intros or his lame voiceovers. It was all about the videos, like some guy filming his kids on Christmas and like tripping and the tree falling over him. Some guy falling down the stairs. That's where it was, and it's amazing to me. I guess it's not amazing because I guess the internet had to become a thing. But how it took so long for like YouTube to like, now you don't need those shows. Like you could just, if you know where to look, you can find endless amounts of material to watch, and that's what makes me laugh. Stuff like that. I guess laughing at people. Curb or PCL? Do you like? Does anybody like the new season of Curb? I only got through the first 3 episodes, and I think I liked the second episode, and I hated the first and third because it just seemed a little too. It felt like somebody was doing a cover version of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it was a little too gaslit, where it was like Curb on steroids. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it gets better. But I've only seen the first 3. By the way, is Bob Saget that dirty? I've heard, like Justin just said, it's weird they always got Bob Saget to all these family shows, but he's such a dirty comedian. Like I've heard that for so long, like even back when was it not Family Matters? What was that horrible show? Full House. Like that was always the thing. Oh, Bob Saget's so dirty. It's amazing that he plays these. He's playing a dad. Have you seen him? And they make it sound like he's like Andrew Dice Clay, mixed with like Eddie Murphy. Mixed with, the hardest comedian ever. And then you hear him and it's like, okay, he does like dirty sex jokes, whatever. I don't think he's funny. I don't like him. But, oh, he's so dirty. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. I didn't see that. I'll have to watch that. The KKK episode of Woody Harrelson. Okay, I'll watch that. I trust your judgment. New Curb season seems too derivative of itself until the season unfolds. Okay, I can get that argument. That's kind of how I felt about it. I felt it was too almost... You know what it felt like? As if Curb went on network TV all of a sudden and had to be a little more hacky and more obvious for dumb people. That's kind of how I felt about it. Like where they're making it like, and also Larry's complaints seemed a little more strained to me. Or when he would say something, he seems more like almost like everybody's in on the joke in a way. I'm probably not explaining it right, but it's like it just seems like he's more on fire, whereas previous seasons he was more cantankerous and you agreed with him even though he was right. And now it just seems like they're coming up with things that like, okay, this scenario would never happen. There's an episode where Larry catches Leon eating watermelon and he admits that he loves it, but he's afraid to eat it in front of white people. See, that sounds good. And Leon, like you could have every scene with Leon in Curb, and I would watch it because he is by far the best stuff. Somebody else recommended Barry to me. I've never seen Barry. Somebody else recommended Barry. Who's the guy in Barry? I forget the guy. John. Fuck. I can't think of his name. Bill Hader. Yeah, I respect Bill Hader. Bill Hader is a big PCL fan, by the way. I don't know if he watches all of them, but he definitely watches enough. Liz's brother lived in Burbank, and Mr. Belding was in a bar hitting on young girls. I can get by that. I never liked that show, Saved by the Bell, but I think I was too old for it. Yeah, JB Smooth is really good. I liked when they put him in stuff that you don't know why he's there. Like I remember that Spider-Man sequel, Far From Home, was it the one that came out a couple of years ago? It was like the second Spider-Man movie with whatever the guy's name is that does Spider-Man now, and JB Smooth was like a teacher or like a chaperone for no reason, but because he was JB Smooth. That's it was that movie's terrible, but I at least liked watching him because he's so crazy. But yeah, he's really funny. Danny McBride, I can take or leave. Sometimes I like him, and sometimes I don't. Like I liked Eastbound and Down for a good run of it up until a certain point. But there's that show that he did. Man, what was it called? The one with the guy from Walton Goggins, where they were like teachers in a school. I couldn't get into that one. Last Man on Earth, I've heard good things about too. Okay, so you guys seem to have good taste. Will I watch the Matrix 4 on HBO? No. I have no interest in the Matrix. I really I don't know, and I've yet to meet somebody that's dying to see this movie. It's kind of like I think Matrix is like a precursor to what Avatar is going to be like next year, where James Cameron thinks that all these people are desperate for Avatar, another Avatar movie. I I don't think anyone's craving this Matrix movie. I think it'll do okay, but no. If I see it, it'll be in the theater, and the only reason it'll get me to see it is if I hear from other people that it's worth seeing. But no, I have no plans on seeing it in the theater or on HBO. Anybody going to see The King's Man? Again, that's another thing. I like Kingsman. The first movie is very surprising to me. Actually, that's a whole other topic, but movies that you come out of nowhere. I remember seeing the promotional stuff for Kingsman and hating it. Like the trailer, the commercials, I hated it. It looked stupid. It just looked like garbage. And I didn't see it. I didn't see it when it was in the theater. And then I saw it when it was on, like, I don't know, when it came out on Blu-ray, whenever that was, or on demand or something. And I remember watching it with my girlfriend at the time, and I wasn't feeling well. I think I was hungover when we watched. I think we watched it on a Sunday, and we had gone out the night before, and I was blown away by how good it was and how smart the writing was, and it was funny. And man, I really had to question everything when I saw that. Yeah, like Joey just says, the Freebird Soldier church scene was great. I'd never seen anything like that, and it was funny. It was genuinely funny, and well written, well cast, and I was like, man, maybe I'm judging things too harshly. Yeah, this was a good movie, and I don't think they did. They didn't market it right because they definitely didn't market it to somebody like me, because there's a way to cut a trailer for that where it looks great. And you'll want to see it. But I remember the commercials just seemed so stupid and loud, but it was really good, and I enjoyed it. And I didn't like the sequel. I saw that. Didn't like the sequel. And yeah, The King's Man. If it's good, I'll see it. Again, I'm not seeing anything when it comes out. So if it's good, I'll see it. AP Bio is. I didn't like AP Bio at all. AP Bio did nothing. AP Bio is a weird one because it's the guy Glenn Hoverton from It's Always Sunny, and he just plays a real nasty guy. I remember seeing like the first few, and I couldn't get into it. And plus, the show had this weird blue filter to it that looked bizarre. I couldn't get into it at all. Yeah, it's just like really good marketing, really bad marketing can ruin a good movie. And I just wonder how many other movies were like that came out in the past like 20 years that I judged harshly by its marketing, but is actually great. Because, and I watched Kingsman begrudgingly. It was one of those days where I think you're sitting on the couch and you don't know. And that's what I hate. What I both hate and love about streaming is you have all these options at your fingertips, but you spend so fucking long, like looking through the menus of like Amazon or who, whatever the hell it is, um, and and then it takes forever to select something. Anyway, it's one of the things where like, oh, let's see this, and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. She's like, well, we've been looking for like the past half hour. I was like, all right, whatever, just play it. And I thought I was gonna like, okay, play it, and then like 20 minutes in, I'll bail and take a nap or something like that. But it didn't happen. It was actually really good. Rock was actually hilarious in Pain and Gain, one of the few Michael Bay movies. Like, I didn't see that one. I really liked Fringe, especially the Eric the Actor episode. I watched Fringe. I watched Fringe. It was very derivative of X Files. It was actually almost like borderline plagiarism in certain aspects, but I liked it for what it was. But it's not a show I'd go back and watch again. Vice Principals, that was the show I was thinking of. Hannah says it's good, so maybe there's something to it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I used to be way more into getting suggestions of TV shows. I remember Perry one time. I don't know why this made me so angry, but like he was watching. He was watching Mork and Mindy. Like for some reason he wanted Mork and Mindy, and I remember I think I got him like a DVD set or something like that. And every time I'd call him to talk to him because he was watching like every episode of Mork and Mindy, and I think Mork and Mindy is garbage. And he'd answer the phone. He'd go like, "No, no, no, no," like trying to be funny, and then he'd be talking like Mork. I'm like, "All right, can you drop that now? It's really annoying." And he just go on as Mork, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Dude, this is the best show ever made. It's so funny. It's so hilarious." And I'm like, "No, it's not. I remember. I remember it when I was a kid. It's really bad. It's not a good show at all. It's terrible." Oh, has anybody watched the new Dexter? I'd like to know that as well. Even though I never saw Dexter, I am curious on the reboot. I wanted to murder Perry when he was talking about. He's like, "Dude, I'm just watching the Mork and Mindy, and Mork is in the kitchen, and he zapped the frying pan to turn into a blow dryer, and Mindy is so pissed, dude." I'm like, I don't care. God, whatever. You can't judge too harshly. Oh, speaking of Ricky Gervais, yeah, there's also The Office. I know a lot of people like worship at the temple of The Office, the U.S. office at least, and I never finished it. I watched it up to a certain point and then stopped watching it, and I never had any desire to go back and pick it up. And I feel like it wouldn't be worth it at this point. Same thing with 30 Rock. I liked 30 Rock kind of when it was on, and then it's just whatever happened, I just stopped watching it. Do I remember the episode of Happy Days when Fonzie went blind? Yes, yes, I do. Of course, of course. That was always in rotation. I happened to catch Happy Days. I forget. I must have been on Pluto. The Happy Days. It was Christmas episode where Fonzie's father shows up to give him a present, but he doesn't tell Fonzie he's his father, but he gives this present saying that it's from his father, and his father told him to come and deliver it to him. And then the guy leaves, and then Fonzie opens it up, and it's a letter written from his father, and he tells him that, hey, I'm the guy that delivered this to you, and I couldn't bring myself to tell you, and it's like, I think he's right. I think he's reading it in front of the Cunninghams, and Fonzie gets all mad, and it's just, yeah. Did I ever watch the Monkees TV show? Yes, when I was a little kid, I watched it. I don't watch it now. That's a good question. Munsters or Addams Family? I like both for different reasons. Sometimes I'm in the mood for the Munsters, and sometimes I'd be in the mood for the Addams Family. I don't obsess over either one. I don't hold either one in like the ultimate height of television. But if I had to choose between the two, I'm gonna go with Munsters because Munsters has more laughs. Even though it's more like it's dumbed down, uh, it makes me laugh more than Addams Family makes me laugh. Nah, I never got into Ren and Stimpy, but not nothing against it. I never got into it when it was on. The Fonz raped Mrs. C. Oh my God, yeah, Joey, same thing. Morticia is my exact type. Is my exact type. I fucking Morticia's gorgeous, of course. So yes, I give a strong bonus points for Adam's Family just for Morticia, but I can't let that be the reason. Monster still makes me laugh more. Yeah, I liked Sledgehammer as a kid too. I remember when it was on. It used to be on Saturday nights on ABC. I don't know how well it's held up. I liked Gilligan's Island when I was a kid, when it was like on every day, but I don't know how well that would hold up now. Um, yeah, I used to like go to Gilligan's Island quite a bit. I had a Gilligan's Island bath playset that you played in the bath. That was the island, and there was like rubber figures of Gilligan, the skipper, Mr. and Mrs. Howell, and you play with it in the bath. So I remember that's one of my earliest toys was a Gilligan's Island bath toy set. But yeah. So much for this fucking asshole saying he wasn't doing After Hours. And by the way, another thing I want to do in the new year is revamp After Hours. If when I do After Hours, is like, yeah, I'll get a camera. I want to do call-ins and like have you guys call in if like we get hot on a topic, like somebody calls in. I know I've done some calls every now and again, but still haven't figured it out. So that's on my to-do list too. Yeah, old Warner Brothers cartoons where they would have shootouts and kill each other. Yes. Gomer Pyle, I did like. Yeah, that was for some reason that was on really early in the morning. You had to get up really early to see it. I forget what channel reran it here in New York, but yeah, Gomer Pyle is good. It's fine. It's very repetitive after a certain point. It's not. It's like I like the relationship between the drill sergeant, I forget his name, and Gomer Pyle, but yeah, it's good. It's not in the upper echelon, but it's good. Do an After Hours quiz where Perry is on the is the phone a friend? Yeah. Perry's banned from After Hours. Classic Simpsons. You know, it's hard for me to watch even classic Simpsons. It's hard for me to watch. I was a Marianne guy. Still am. Marianne. Ginger almost did nothing for me, to be honest with you. Marianne all the way. Deadwood for HBO. Yeah, I liked Deadwood. Deadwood is one of those shows. They tried to do so many shows on HBO that could follow The Sopranos or take over The Sopranos time slot when The Sopranos wasn't on. And I think Deadwood was probably that and The Wire are probably the two ones that did the best. But only the third season loses me a little bit with Deadwood. But first two were great. Garth Marenghi for a sitcom, even though UK stuff's tough for me. Like I even like Alan Partridge. I like it, but I can't take too much of it. The absurdity, the absurdity of when a British sitcom is like out on location somewhere and there's like two people walking in a park or somebody's driving in a car and they're really driving, like not like sitcom driving where it's clearly like, you know, some kind of weird green screen and there's a laugh track. I can't get into that. I just can't get into that. Yeah, Deadwood movie was not good. And it took too long. It took too long to come out. Really, honestly, for Deadwood for me, it's really just the first season. Even the second season, when I think back on it, it's not as strong. It's really the first season is almost perfect television, and then the second season loses me a little bit, and the third season loses me a lot. Snuffbox is good. I've seen Snuffbox. It's good in certain segments for sure. Joey says that Al Swearens is your favorite character, and what they did in the movie was lame. Yeah, but they kind of neutered him after. He's great in the first season, and anybody that loves Al Swearens, you love him from the first season. They kind of neutered him after that. He wasn't that like he wasn't that dude anymore. He wasn't that like murderer, like cold blooded murderer who also had, a certain moral compass in his own way, and he sidelined in the first few episodes of the second season with it was that stupidly, and then he's just kind of like in the background in the third season. He's not really moving the action anymore. And I liked it better when in the first season he's kind of moving all the action and manipulating people, and he's very much in charge of things. And yeah, that they seem to have lost that by the end of the third season, from what my memory entails. I haven't seen it in a while. Yeah, Brad Dourif was a highlight in that show. That's right. Yeah, he became more of a businessman and almost a politician. And I liked him better as the underhanded guy who was also a businessman and interested in that, and interested in the growth of the town, but only to his own benefit. He almost became like a mayor at a certain point. But still, very good, very good, very good show overall. It's one I would rewatch at some point in time. By the way, speaking of Ghostbusters, I know it comes out. Did anybody actually see that new Ghostbusters movie? And is it any good? And I say that as somebody who doesn't really care about Ghostbusters. Did anybody actually see? Is it only playing in theaters or is it on streaming as well? I don't even know. I've heard mixed things about it. Did anybody actually see it? And is anybody seeing Spider-Man like this weekend? I'm not. I'll see it eventually, but I'm not seeing it. You saw? Okay, so how is it? Do you have to be like a Ghostbusters nerd to like it? Because anything I've seen about it, it doesn't interest me in the slightest. And honestly, all those Ghostbusters comments that come in, I mean, God, someone's doing some kind of crazy campaign to get Perry to see it. Um, I, it's not. It's just I can't get into it. There's a Spider-Man coming out, and it's another Spider-Man, but it only looks good because it's got Doctor Strange in it, and it's got the whole concept of the movie is that it's like multiple universes open up, and you see alternate realities and shit like that. So in a sci-fi aspect, I'm kind of interested in it. If you're a fan of Ghostbusters movies, you will enjoy it. Other than that, I don't think I would like it. Okay, well, I don't qualify as a fan of Ghostbusters movies, so I will take a pass on it. And it just looks weird. Like you would think a Ghostbusters sequel would take place in a big city. Like it's weird that it's like a small town, and that's always to save money. Like they did that with the first Thor movie. The first Thor movie takes place in a middle of nowhere town because it's just cheaper. Because you don't want to do some big budgety thing, but it doesn't interest me. I don't like Paul Rudd that much, and the only scenes I've seen from the movie is Paul Rudd walking through this like perfectly clean Walmart, which is clear product placement, and like it's the cleanest Walmart I've ever seen in my life, where you could probably eat off the floor, and he's the only one in there, by the way. And then like all these like spooky dogs and marshmallow men show up in the Walmart, but of course it's Walmart, so it's clearly a sponsor of the movie, and it's just I don't know, it doesn't make me want to see it. But I look, Spider Man is sold out. There's a friend of mine wanted to take his kids to see it. Spider Man sold out everywhere the first weekend, which is a good sign for theaters. It's you cannot get a ticket to see it. I have no interest in seeing. I'm not going to go to a crowded movie theater at all. So when I see Spider Man, and I will see it, even though I'm not married to the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. Like I'm not going to see a bunch of all their movies, but yeah. And Joey says you have superhero fatigue. So do I, and I'm done with it all. But there's enough of this story that interests me that I will see it, but it'll be like in a couple of weeks. Tony Hawk asked, "Do I like Sebastian Maniscalco?" That's a name that I hear constantly, but I don't know. No, I don't know him. Yeah, Robert was with me. We were backstage at Jimmy Kimmel Live, like right outside like Jimmy's office or Jimmy's dressing room. I forget. It was like underneath the theater, like after one of the was at the show where all the Avengers were on, and we saw like all the Avengers because they were promoting something, and Paul Rudd was there, and oh my god, he was so short, like he was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, he was so short. You crossed the line, Tom. You don't talk trash about Paul Rudd. I don't know, why is Paul Rudd so great. First of all, Paul Rudd came up in all these chick flick movies that I just don't give a shit about. So I don't care about Paul Rudd. Like Ant-Man's okay, but I don't give a shit. I really don't. Yeah, and getting back to the Marvel thing, I've said this before. Like, I enjoyed the run I had with Marvel for the 10 years, and then Endgame was the ending for me, and that was it. It was a nice bookmark, and anything after that is like I can pick and choose a la carte what I want to get into. But I am not entrenched in this cinematic universe anymore. I'm out. I'm not watching really anything after that. Do I have a theory as to why Perry hates that guy that sings the names? I just think I think the guy's just annoying to him. And I don't think it's the singing. I think it's the names he's singing. Like when he's going like, Randy, 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 or Brian, Brian, Brian. I mean, God, he reaches for that mouse so many times tonight. It was so exhausting. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what. So it's the same thing, and I think also he recognizes him from previous streams. He's like, "Will you shut the fuck?" Like he hates all singing, pretty much any singing. Like even like the Indian singing stuff tonight, he hated. So it's just weird. Paul Rudd is listed at 5'10". There is no fucking way on God's green earth that motherfucker is 5'10". And Robert's in the chat, Alice the Cat, he was with me. That guy was so short, it was shocking how short he was. He walked right by us. I mean, and I'm 5'11" on my best day. I'm probably more like 5'10" and change. But that guy was short, man. He was like would you say 5'7", Robert? I mean, he was short. Yeah, Perry hates repetition. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. There's no way Paul Rudd is anywhere near 5'10". 5'6". I'll tell you what. I can say 5'6". I'd say Paul Rudd is legit between 5'6" and 5'7", and 5'7" is generous. Those songs are catchy. Those name songs, like they are. And by the way, some of my best friends are, height challenged, but yeah, it is weird seeing like a guy that's in like all these movies, and he's like, "Whoa, wow, that's a short dude." So, I was looking at older chat on the side here. It was like, uh, you liked when young children get hurt. There's a great Instagram account called Kids Getting Hurt. They're not really getting hurt. Like they're not getting like they're like they're not bleeding or anything like that. But it's literally about like a kid like running into the kitchen and slipping and like tripping. And for some reason, it's so hilarious to watch. So if I can give a tip on following an Instagram account, it's Kids Getting Hurt on Instagram is fantastic. I don't know what Perry's height would be. If he claims 5'8", Perry comes up to me. I'd say Perry is about 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in that range. I don't know why people lie about their height. I guess I get why an actor would lie about his height, but the only way Perry is 190 if he's 5 inches. Did I watch Trigger Happy TV? It's British. No, once I hear British, I'm out. I don't. I've said this many times. I don't like British production. A British show has to be phenomenal to get me to watch it. That's how much. I just don't like British programming. It's not for me. It's just yeah. I can't. I just, nothing against the British. But I hate their TV and their food and pretty much everything else aside from their music. Never heard of Peep Show. I don't know. I got some. There's some things. Um, okay, that sounds. So it's Trigger Happy is reality. It's a dude messing with the general public. That I can get into. That I can get into. Todd Margaret was great for that one season, and then they made the mistake of bringing it back. When that was it one season or two seasons or three, I forget. But that last season of Todd Margaret, where they brought it back, was dreadful. Pretty much ruined the show for me. That's how bad that last season was. Quote from Paul Rudd: "I'm 5'10". I'm not short, but I am not tall by any means. It wasn't until I became an actor and I would meet people and they would say, 'Wow, you're short.' He's not 5'10". He's lying. There's no way he's 5'10". He walked right by me, and I'm 5. I mean, he was, and I looked. I'm not joking. I like we both looked down. Like me and Robert were standing together at Jimmy Kimmel Live, backstage, whatever, and he was right in front of us. Oh, there's 3 seasons. Okay, so one in maybe two is okay. Season one is excellent. That's the only one that's like legitimately great. One time he calls up exterminators, calls them to his apartment to get rid of a rat, and when they get there, it's a guy in a rat costume laying on the couch reading a newspaper. Okay. Yeah, I towered over him, right? Yeah, you're right. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, so he's lying about 5'10", which means he has to be 5'7". And he must have had some kind of heels or some kind of magic shoe or something like that. And I've heard that about Tom Cruise too, even though I'm a huge Tom Cruise. I'm basically gay for Tom Cruise because I will defend him to the utmost. Like when somebody like, oh, but he's this, I know he's great. Don't give me that stuff. You name me a bad movie Tom Cruise was ever in. Tom Cruise never in a bad movie. He's pretty much been playing the same role for the past 35 years. Guy doesn't age. He's amazing. But yeah, okay, sure. Whatever. Get over it. Yeah, of course it. Tom Cruise rocks. His movies are good. You're not gonna name me too many bad Tom Cruise movies. There's a picture of Paul Rudd next to Jeremy Renner, who's 5'8", and he's shorter than him. Wait, who's shorter than who? Jeremy's shorter than Paul? Last Samurai is not a bad movie. It's not great. Vanilla Sky is not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either. Cocktail's got some moments in it. Cocktail's got some things in it. Yes, Jack Reacher is not up to par, but the first Jack Reacher movie, despite look, Jack Reacher the movies are terribly cast. Tom Cruise is not Jack Reacher. He doesn't look like the character. If you read the books or listen to the books or whatever, Jack Reacher is this big dude, blonde dude. First movie's good, despite being terribly miscast. Tom Cruise is great in it. Second movie is bad just because it's a bad movie. It's not because of Tom Cruise. I mean, that's not me bending over backwards to defend him. Born on the 4th of July is a great movie. It's hard to watch. Yeah, I'm all over that new Top Gun movie. I'm so pissed off because they moved that twice. It was supposed to come out. First of all, it was supposed to come out like June of 2020. Obviously, that got changed because the movie theaters weren't open. Then they moved it to this past summer, moved it again to November, and then moved it again. Now it's not coming out until May. I think if they would have stuck to the November opening, it would have done well. It's annoying that by the time you see it, it's going to be like 3 years old. You know, Joey mentions Color of Money. I've never seen Color of Money. For whatever reason. It's directed by Martin Scorsese, even though it's not like, you know, I think he's kind of a hired gun on it. But I've never seen it, and I'd like to see it at some point. I never liked the way Tom Cruise looks in The Color of Money. He's got that weird haircut. He looks different in Color of Money than just about any other movie he's ever done. He's got this... He just looks bizarre in the movie. But I'd like to. I'll see. It's one of those. It's one of. I have a list. I have like a Word document of like movies that I wrote down that I know are popular movies or movies I should see, and didn't see it. Don't say The Firm. The Firm's a good movie. If you say it's boring, you should see it again with adult eyes. The Firm's very good, and Tom Cruise is great in it. I can understand why you'd say it's a little boring. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna handle Val Kilmer in the Top Gun movie based on his current condition. I'm assuming he's in it, and they probably like CGI'd him maybe, or maybe overdubbed him or something like that, and he dies early in the movie. That's the only thing I could think of it. No, I haven't seen Val. I can't bring myself to watch it for the same reason I can never bring myself to watch that Robert Ebert documentary. I forget the name of it. It was like I can't think of the name of it. When Robert Ebert was still alive, Roger Ebert was still alive. They did a documentary on him, and it was like, God, it showed like his whole, like his whole throat thing and everything like that. I couldn't do it. I could not watch that because it would just be too upsetting, and I feel the way about Val because it just, as cool as it would be to see the behind the scenes stuff, it's just too upsetting to see him in that state. Somebody that I look up to. Somebody asked what my personal Venmo is. Well, please don't feel obligated to send me anything. But it's at Ginge22 at capital GINGE 22. But please don't feel obligated to send anything. It's not. Yeah, unless it's a new car or Hiring a contractor to finish this goddamn room, then I will accept. Is it an AI voice in Val? I thought it was his son. I thought it was his son doing it. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just kind of, yeah. Mumble says, "Do I hate Milo and Otis because it has English people narrating it?" Yeah, kind of. They were really annoying. Yeah, something about that British accent that gets to you after a while. I kind of do hate it for that, even though it's got Dudley Moore. That's what I thought. I think it's his son. So I mean, is it really disturbing? I mean, you know what I'd like if somebody can do me the solid of get Val and then edit out all the disturbing parts. Edit out Val Kilmer like now or like any kind of cancer-y stuff, and just show the cool stuff where he's like filming behind the scenes stuff like on film sets. I would watch that. No, he can't speak. He's got like a cancer kazoo. He's got like he had throat cancer. So yeah, no, he's got no. They removed his voice box, so he can't speak. And in the trailer, he tries to speak at one point, and it's so hard to hear that from somebody who just God. Did you know the modern British accent did not develop until after the Revolutionary War? So all those movies with people with British accents aren't great. I didn't know that. So what did they speak like? Does the accent bother you more as an American or because of an Irish descent? No, I'm kind of playing around. It doesn't bother me. I have a lot of friends, British friends. I make fun of it a little bit, but no, it doesn't bother me. There's certain genres of British accent that cut right through me. But no, I don't. It doesn't go that far, to be honest with you. I like a good British narrator on like a documentary or something like that. But yeah, like Val Kilmer not being able to speak is just outrageous to me. And again, not to get all metaphysical, but or philosophical, but yeah, the Cockney accent can't take it, can't take it. How how can I be expected to believe in God when things like that happen? Things like that happen to people. Where it's like, yeah, I've talked many times about Bobby Heenan. Like Bobby Heenan's a guy, throat cancer, one of the best talkers ever in any genre, and any forget about wrestling, forget about entertainment, anywhere. Think of how good a Bobby Heenan podcast would be. Like for the past 10 years, it would kill. It would kill. And he had throat cancer, and lived, especially the past like 10 years of his life, and awful conditions. Jaw replacement surgery that didn't take. The same thing with Roger Ebert actually, but just awful, just awful. And I like Val Kilmer a lot. Like there's just so many movies you can go back with Val. Val Kilmer is one of those guys. He's a sleeper because he's not like the typical A-list guy that you think about all the time. But man, go back to Heat. Watch Val Kilmer in Heat. He really steals that movie in a lot of ways for me. The big draw of Heat is like De Niro and Pacino. They're not the highlight of Heat for me. It's the other characters, and especially Val Kilmer. I like him in The Saint. Definitely Top Secret, and first Top Gun, obviously, and there's so many movies. Real Genius is great, where he plays the genius college student. Yeah, so fucking good, and it's just so tragic that's where he is now. And of course, Tombstone. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand how he wasn't bigger. Maybe he was a pain in the ass to work with, because there's no reason why he's not bigger than he is. But man, yeah, it's funny because I've sat in front. Like I have this piece of shit TV that I really want to replace at some point. But it's like a Fire TV, so it's got like the Amazon Fire like interface built in. It's like some shitty TV that was like Prime Day special. So when you turn on Fire TV, they promote their Amazon stuff like ad nauseum. And it's always up there. It's always up there. Like, hey, watch Val. And there's been nights where I'm like, oh, tonight's the night where I'm gonna watch Val, and maybe I'll just fast forward, and I just cannot bring myself to watch it. Yeah, The Doors, another one, man. Is and I'm not even a Doors fan, but his Jim Morrison's fantastic. I've heard that too, Johnny. Yeah, I've heard he was problematic to work with, but you know what? Some of the best actors are problematic to work with. I haven't seen Willow since it came out. That's the last time I saw Willow was 1988 or 89, whenever it came on video. I think I didn't I saw it on video. I didn't that's I haven't seen it in that long, and I know it takes a lot of hits because it wasn't like that successful. But I remember liking him in it. Oh, he's in it. Is Val Kilmer in Interview with a Vampire? I forget. I have to watch Willow again. Okay. Yeah, he was Batman too. He wasn't terrible as Batman. The movie was terrible for other reasons, but he wasn't terrible. I almost want to look at his IMDb, see if I'm missing anything. I never really got into those Batman movies after the Michael Keaton movies. There's another early Val Kilmer movie I'm not thinking of. Let's see. So, I've never seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's from 2000. Oh, there's a movie I saw of him that's not terrible. Um, Tom, did you think that Perry was going to clean all the ketchup off the ceiling? I thought he'd do a better job than what he did because he's always obsessed about making a mess. I thought he would do a better job than what he did. So yeah, I'm a little surprised that it was that way. Um, let's go back a ways. Top Secret is his first movie. Real Genius, Top Gun. Yeah, Willow. Oh, he played Billy the Kid in a TV movie. Kill Me Again, I don't know. The Doors. True Mentor, True Romance. Yeah, he has a cameo in there. The Real McCoy I've never seen. Tombstone, of course. Batman Forever. Heat. The Island of Dr. Moreau I've never seen. And I've only seen the documentary and how crazy it was. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Ghost in the Darkness, where he is with Michael Douglas about the lion, hunting the two crazy lions in Africa. That's not bad. Saint is very good. There's a lot. Red Planet I've never seen. He's in. I'm skipping over some. Spartan I saw. That was a David Mamet film. Very not a lot of people saw that. It's not bad. It's not great either though. And then Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then yeah, everything after this I don't know. Tenth and Wolf, Moscow Zero, a lot of conspiracy at Columbus Day, a lot of oh god, he's in the Love Guru as himself, and he's in Knight Rider, the rebooted Knight Rider TV show as the voice of Kit, who replaced because I remember this. Who replaced Will Arnett was the original voice of Kit in the rebooted a Knight Rider, and because Will Arnett had another he was the voiceover for some car, like in ad campaigns, and therefore they didn't want him doing the voice of Kit in Knight Rider, so they replaced him after he had already recorded all of his stuff for Knight Rider, and they got Val Kilmer to do it, which is interesting. God, I need my fucking smoking jacket. It's getting cold in here. I should probably wrap this up. It's fucking stupid, man. Just fucking shoot me in the head every time I say there's no. I'm not doing after hours. It's so annoying to even hear it back when I cut it up to like put it on YouTube or whatever, and I'm like, hey, thanks for coming out, guys. Yeah, can't do after hours tonight, but this was good, and we'll see you on Friday, whatever. And then I look at the timeline. I'm like, this went on for another 3 hours. You fucking moron. Just shut your stupid mouth. Sometimes when I say that, I really mean it. How many times, Thistle Wiffle says, I have to ask, how many times do I have to mute a laugh when Perry's having a freak out? Not too many. It depends on if my mic is on or not. Sometimes it's already off. It's a good question. I mean, definitely with the ketchup, I muted myself right at the right time because he was shaking it up, and I knew what was ever going to happen was going to happen. It was either going to work or not, and I was muted when it went off. But I have to mute myself twice. Number one, muting from the stream, and number two, muting from him. Two different things, and I muted from both. And yeah, I was definitely laughing. Because I don't think it would be as good. The one thing that I don't like when I watch back certain things is when you can hear me laughing. Not that I'm like, I'm breaking a character or anything, because I'm not playing any kind of character, but I don't think it sounds right. I think you just want to hear Perry's reaction to whatever it is. Whether he's like, running, spilling something on the floor and going crazy. I feel like if there's an audible laughter on top of it, it almost, not makes it mean-spirited, but makes it like not as effective. I think it should just be Perry. So yeah, when a big moment like the ketchup, I wouldn't want to have my laugh over it. I think it's much better seeing the chat like blow up with like LOLs and stuff like that. But when Perry's going nuts, I'm not really that. I don't find that funny because I'm trying to, number one, prevent him from shutting down, prevent him from quitting, trying to keep the stream going. So I'm more very, back when we first started PCL, at least, like I would yell at him back, and I'd fight his fire with fire, where it'd be like, God damn you, no, stop, and I'd yell as he's yelling, and that, because it's an easy thing to try to, and you'll eventually get him with that, but it's much better, and it's hard. It takes a lot of discipline. It's much better to treat it with calmness and, throw cold water on his fire. So if he's really hot, I like to be really low, or like, or not be affected by it. Just be like, okay, Perry, like even if he's going full gore, like full all out, like, you motherfucker, you piece of shit, you fucking mother, I'm done with you, you fuck, whatever it is, I'll be like, okay, let's keep going, even though sometimes I'll catch myself where I'll be like, hey, sit down, I'll get a little loud, and I don't like that either. But not that I don't like it because I think it's bad. It's just for myself in dealing with him. I think it's much better to go soft than go loud, because you're not going to compete with him, and you want to bring him out. You want to, and look, there's times I just let it go, and I don't say anything. I'll let him. And this is not something I did early on either, where he would get into that real crazy rage with me or whatever, and then I would interrupt him. I'd be like, no, Perry, stop, or whatever. And maybe this might be occasion where I do that, but now I kind of will let him go and cycle through it, and then I'll just be like, hey, all right, are we done? So it's hard. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. So, but yeah, I've definitely laughed on the mic many times. For whatever thing it could be. I mean, there's times where I've just completely lost it, where it could be a comment or something like that. I remember, like, I think Belushi sent in one like ages ago where it was like John D, but like broken, broken English, John D. And for some reason, that just struck me as hysterical, and I could not, I couldn't, you know. And then there's a couple occasions where he catches me laughing and gets more mad, and is like whatever he's mad at, and then I'm trying to keep it together. And I'm just like, all right, Perry, let's that. And he's like, what are you laughing at, you motherfucker? And I'm like, I don't, and then I'll just have to like go away for a little bit and compile himself. I remember being at his apartment a couple of times and things come in, and there was a couple of things, at the time, like Dan Dizak comments were just killer every time. And there was one, I forget what TomB Week show it was, but it was like, there was one that just, man, and I'd never been in a position because I was like because normally I'm at home, obviously doing it, and now I'm in his apartment and it comes out and he's doing it, and I just like, he's not seeing me because I'm behind him, but I was crying. I was afraid that he was going to hear me. Like, I was dying. Absolutely dying. So occasionally it does, and that's a good sign that things are going well, because it's hard for me to laugh at everything in the moment, because I'm fixated on other things, like especially in media share I'm very distracted because I'm lining up, I got to play things at the right time, and I got to like, look at this, so it's very analytical for me on media share. So like even tonight, like I have no gauge on how the stream was, even though I know people said that they liked it. I just like, but because I was just spinning so many plates that it's hard for me to sit back and enjoy it like that. That's why I kind of like I check in with the YouTube premieres sometimes, even though I've seen them. Obviously I did it live, and then I go back and look at it like when I'm like trimming it up or like fixing this or that. I get a good gauge of it, even though I don't watch the whole thing straight through. But then, like a Monday afternoon will come, Monday evening, I should say, and it'll start playing, and I'll be like, I'm going to watch this for a little bit. And it's fun to kind of watch it, because sometimes it's like watching it for the first time, because I forget. It's been like, oh, this stream's like from 6 months ago. I completely forgot about this. Oh, I remember when he opened this mail. Oh, I remember when he did that. Joey says, my favorite Tom laughing moment was when he pitched to him that Perry and John D should reenact the Temple of Doom. Yeah, that's totally a good example. There's got to be there's something with that John D broken English thing that John D being short round really nailed it for me, because you know what it was with that, I visualized it like because he had the raft, and if you know Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, like 20 minutes into the movie, whatever, Indiana Jones is in a plane that's crashing, and there's no parachutes or anything like that. And him and Short Round and what's her name, Willie, they have to jump out of the plane, of course, but they got no parachutes, so they find an inflatable raft. And they jump out of the plane as the raft's inflating, and then it lands in the snow and goes down the thing. Anyway, so when he told me that, I just totally pictured Perry and John D being Short Round, with the broken English. And yeah, I just, God. Yeah, I love that too. And Anna says, I love what Dan Dizak, Perry always says, can you believe this guy, Tom? Yeah, I know. Like, look at this guy. Always out for a free meal. It's like, oh my God. He's like shaking his head in disgust. Like, you believe the nerve of this guy? Yeah, I that does get to me too. Or the Amy stuff, like okay, like tonight, for example, like I always like the Amy, like Matrix, like hacking visual, and when he's yelling at me, like, and I'm like cycling through it, he's like, Tom, are you gonna do anything about this? And I don't want to interrupt the media share really, but no, I'll be like, I'm trying, Perry. I'm trying to read this. What are you reading, you fucking moron? You don't read it, you get it off. Whatever he said. I forget exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing. But he's like, I don't know, I'm trying to catch up with this. He's like, oh my God, are you stupid? Like, which I love. It's such an obvious thing, but I love when he calls either the audience stupid. There's several things I like. I like when he calls the audience stupid. I like when he calls me stupid. And then I love when he says, what do you think, I'm stupid? When he says, what do you think, I'm stupid? Like if there's a media share that's just not up to his standards, that will, like, I don't know what it was, like the Ronald McDonald snowboarding one. He's like, that's CGI. What do you think, I'm stupid? Meanwhile, everybody, as soon as he says that, everybody in their mind is like, yeah, you chased a fucking lion down your hallway, or like you went out to beat a zebra, or like, you went to file a restraining order against Ronald McDonald. So you tell us. Yeah, the reactions of it. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, and I think the beauty of Perry too is like, and you get that sense when like a comment's replayed, like that's been played. Like sometimes you get two different versions of his reaction to something, which I love too. It's like, so you could tune in on a Wednesday, and that's what I think. That's what I think gives PCL legs, is that you can tune in on a Wednesday and he can be a certain way, and then Friday he can be a different way. And in some ways it's the same, but it's a variation. You'll never get the same exact version every time, which is interesting because it's just, he's interesting, and there's layers to it, which because otherwise it'd be boring if it was just some guy that just says the same thing all the time. He doesn't. Did he go back to the courthouse with his new evidence yet? No, he didn't, thankfully. No. Can you imagine? Yeah, or even the things like that, like Belushi does, as annoying as they are for me, because I got to remind him every time. I do think they're funny when he has to do something like behind the couch before he can go to the bathroom, like whatever it is. I think getting the cab was good, but he sucks at, like, he'll do it pretty good the first time, and then he's so in line to go to the bathroom that any kind of distraction, which is what makes it funny, by the way, acknowledging that, because he wants to go to the bathroom, and he has to do something like hail a cab, or like swing on a vine, or whatever it is. It's very creative. It's very creative and funny, even though every time he darts up, I gotta, like, hey Perry, hey, stop, you gotta do this thing. Remember, you gotta do, whatever. You gotta walk over lava, whatever it is. I don't know. That's a good question. What's up with the new scissors revelation? I don't know. That's some early childhood memory shit that sounds really weird. That the doctor had to use scissors to cut poop out of his butt. Yeah. When will we call Linda? Maybe we call her on New Year's. I got to find her number. I looked for her number recently, and I didn't have it where I thought I had it. So I got to get her phone number again. But yeah, and again, I'd have to get her permission. I wouldn't call her blind on the stream. I'd have to, like, set it up with her in advance. Are you okay talking to Perry about this cat thing? Yeah, I think it's almost been a year now since the cat story has come up. I think it'll be a year in March. So I think we're due some resolution. But even like, for instance, I was talking to somebody tonight about the Kim Richards thing, and it's weird. Like once, like he screams at her and says she calls her the C word, and all this thing, and like wants her blocked, and then like the next stream, if she just phrases things a little differently, he's like, all right, we can put things behind us. All right, yeah, all right. You want to meet for lunch at Rainbow? Okay, I'll meet you. And then the time after that, she could say the wrong thing, and he's at her throat again. So, will Mole ever call in again? I hope so. I know Mo likes PCL, and he's definitely been asked, and he's definitely inquired. But other people make that very difficult, unfortunately. That's all I'll say about it. But who knows? Maybe I would like that, or at least show up with a delivery one day. Oh, the other one he met, not even counting Danica. What's her name came up tonight? Who's the chick? Why can't I think of her name? The one who stars in Suicide Squad, that was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and played Sharon Tate. What's that actress's name? I always get a little brain dead around this time. Uh, I tipped it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Her name. But anyway, he said, "I haven't seen you in a long time." And I wanted to interrupt then, but we were wrapping up. I was like, "Wait, when did you meet her? Like how?" Margot Robbie, thank you, Margot Robbie. It's like she's not that. She's not that. She's been around a long time, but not that long. So like, how did you like? Is this gonna go back to Palm Springs? Maybe it's a conversation to bring up another time. Because I know he wanted to wrap up, and I know he legit has to be up early tomorrow for his colonoscopy and everything like that. But I wanted to know what the history was there. Yeah, Perry was ripped. Yeah. Hey Paisano said, "Do you like any Irish programs, Tommy Boy, like Father Ted?" Never saw Father Ted. I know it's probably sacrilegious, but I never saw Father Ted. Have I ever heard the Dave Morgan? Have you ever heard the Dave Morgan from Utica, New York, stuck in the elevator call? A lot of prank calls use it as a soundbar, but the original call said no. No, I've never heard that. That sounds interesting. How has the Kia Cadenza not come up yet? What is that? You're gonna. I'm not. That's not ringing a bell. Is he a pathological liar, or does he actually believe he knows these people? He's not a path. Well, he's not a pathological liar. I think he's lazy with his memory, and obviously, okay, legit, he has a short-term memory problem. But I think he confuses people with other people and doesn't bother to separate them. Like, for instance, we all know he didn't meet Kevin Spacey in 1978, and Kevin Spacey didn't get him an ice cream cone. However, I believe somebody did that was maybe of that stature or whatever, and he confuses it with Kevin Spacey. Say, yeah, right. He said I got to find that. He did a voicemail review of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me, and I remember at the time where it was around a time where I was like thinking of like, oh, Perry should start a Patreon or something like that, and I held off doing it for many reasons. But one of the things he did, and I should post them somewhere, is he did like movie reviews just on my voicemail. Like it was very like darn dirty, but he talked about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as if it was a movie made about real people. And yeah, there is real people in the movie, but like the main character, Rick Dalton, who Leonardo DiCaprio plays, he said he met him in Palm Springs in like the 70s or something like that, at a golf tournament. Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's funny, like, because there's two chats. There's the one on the main screen, and then I have like a chat like paused on the side, which is like older, that I try to scroll through. So that's where I just saw yours. Yeah. Did Perry ever meet Daniel Carver? No, I don't think Perry would know who Daniel Carver is. But yeah, it's just surprising to me. It seems very more about female celebrities than male, that he always seems to know or has some kind of history with. Like and he perks up like when Danica Patrick, like Danica, or like it could be anybody, you know, Drew Barrymore, Drew, or whoever. Like name somebody that's remotely attractive that's a female actress, and honey girl, I haven't seen you in a long time. Was Perry really on the set of War of the Worlds? He said he met Tom Cruise there. You know, maybe it's possible. They did a lot of that on the Universal backlot, and it's possible if he was doing extra stuff at the time. But yeah, I don't know. He says, you know, and again, saying he met Tom Cruise, he maybe he did. Yeah, the Trumps blows me away too because you know maybe he was at a show. I like for that, and I'm making this up. Like I'm making this up as a probable example. Like he says he met Ivanka Trump at an auto show. He probably he could have been somewhere where somebody looked like Ivanka Trump, or somebody said, or her name was Ivanka. Like maybe that could be it. And I'm spitballing here. It's like maybe he was at an auto show somewhere because he used to go to those a lot. He used to go to car shows, and there could be a blonde named Ivanka, and then he just had it in his head afterwards that it was Ivanka Trump. So I don't know. TomB, one, have I seen French Dispatch yet? No. It's beautifully shot, and the most recent Bond girl, Leia Seydoux, gets naked. If I run the PCL Twitter, thanks for the follow. I post some things on PCL Twitter, but mainly that's Garrett on PCL Twitter. Is that the one? Is that the Wes Anderson movie? Because I will see that at some point. How do I cleanse my palate of Perry or in general? Honestly, this after hours helps cleanse my palate from the stream. This is a heavy one tonight. There was a lot of moving parts to this one that I had to do behind the scenes, like shit, like multitasking like an MFR, and it was rough. So, how do I cleanse my palate? Oh, by the way, thank you, Ben, who sent me the Venmo. Ben said, probably the guy who asked for my Venmo said, "Thanks for all your hard work and patience on PCL. Merry Christmas." Merry Christmas to you, Ben. Merry Christmas to everybody. That's really sweet of you. Thank you very much. I will use that tomorrow, for sure. Billy Bush has a job on X now. Why not Pat O'Brien? Pat O'Brien's just too old. Pat O'Brien just really those. I'll tell you what killed Pat O'Brien was those voicemails, where he just comes off as that desperate creeper, where he was like drunk or whatever. That Stern used to play all the time. I mean, you knew Pat O'Brien's career was over when he was on a panel show with Perry. And I remember when I first saw that clip of Perry on like Hot Topic, and I wasn't really involved with Perry at the time he was doing that show. But I remember seeing clips of that where Pat O'Brien, still trying to look like Pat O'Brien, even though he was a little older, was like trying to throw to Perry or trying to like talk after Perry had said something ridiculous or whatever. And I just like, oh man, that's Pat O'Brien. Like, goddamn, like that guy was. You know, he was a good sportscaster. He was good at what he did, and he just oof. Yeah, Richard soundboarded the hell out of that. Royal Tenenbaums is your favorite Wes Anderson? I don't get Royal Tenenbaums. I saw that during lockdown for the first time since it came out, and I really didn't like it. And I like Wes Anderson's very hit or miss for me, but I really didn't like that one. Thistle Wiffle says, just want to say thanks to TomB and PCL crew, which is Joey and Garrett and Shaft and Rafe. Yeah, you've given me a lot. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. So, Merry Christmas. Did I see when Chris Everett freaked out on Jim Rome show? Yes. Oh, you know what I saw? There was this great clip you guys got to look at on YouTube, and I'll try to wrap up with this. There was this oh man, I watched it. Yeah, I just watched this yesterday. Actually, it's a great YouTube bit. Not bit, but it really happened. But it's not something I ever heard of, and maybe this is more famous. I'm not seeing now. Watch. I'm not going to be able to find it in the moment. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to scroll through my YouTube history. There's so much shit that I watch. I got to go back really far. I'm not going to find it. Anyway, okay. So it's this clip. I'll see if I can find it. It's Angie Dickinson is on goes on a talk show with Pat Sajak. This is like 1981, and what the show is trying to do is they're trying to do a new version of This Is Your Life. This Is Your Life was a show, if you don't know, like from like the 50s, maybe 60s, that a celebrity would come on and they would go under the guise of doing something else, and sometimes they would just know that they were doing This Is Your Life, and it's like, this is your life, and you bring out a big book and like, this is your life, and you'd hear a voice like, I was your teacher in the second grade. It's Miss Margaret. Come on out. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, Pat Sajak is doing this show. It might be before Wheel of Fortune or just as it was starting. And Pat Sajak is doing This Is Your Life. And it's going to be Angie Dickinson, but she's there under a different premise. She doesn't know she's doing This Is Your Life. So the video starts out on YouTube. In fact, you can look it up. I think the title is Angie Dickinson Storms Out of This Is Your Life. And the show never happens because the video starts with her off camera talking to a producer, and the producer's trying to tell her that, okay, we're really doing This Is Your Life. And she's like, I'm not doing this shit. It's like, oh, no, I didn't agree to this. And you got to give her a ton of credit. She literally just tells him to fuck off and like leaves. Like the show never happens. She storms off because she's there under the premise that she's promoting some movie or whatever with Pat Sajak, who she probably didn't even know who Pat Sajak was at the time. But then it turns into, oh no, we're really doing This Is Your Life, and they probably got all these people from her past to show up, and she fucks off. She like, you got to give her all the credit in the world. Like, wow, like that takes brass balls. Like, just like storming all like that. So that was cool to see. But you can look it up for yourself and watch that. I don't have the thing, but I was watching it yesterday, and it was really interesting. Why does people get mad when people call him Francis? Well, that's not his name, right? So that's why he gets mad. Oh, and they wanted her to talk about Sinatra and the mob, and she swore to him that she would never do that. I don't know. Is Sinatra and the mob really a thing? I always think that. I always felt like that's overstated. Okay, it's in Discord. Yeah, I might be overselling it, but when I watched it like yesterday, and I just was in the right mood for it. And I was like, wow, I gave her a lot of credit for it. You and Perry should go on a cruise. I would never go on a cruise. One thing about the new Matrix movie, they're apparently bringing back Agent Smith, but with a new skin, like the new Neo. Looks like a cash grab. That's so stupid because I think I forget the actor, the guy who plays Agent Smith, just like swore off all those like movies. That's why he didn't reply. That's why he's not in Infinity War, where he Red Skull, because they get a different actor because he just doesn't want to do those movies anymore. That's so stupid. I had another thing I was going to say, and I can't think of what it was now. I know that he was involved with the Vegas mob, but kind of like that scene in The Godfather. He's like Johnny Fontaine in The Godfather, where he's like, he knows mob people, but he's not really involved with mob stuff. But he helps his friends, like people. Like, he played places that were, mob run or whatever. But I never got the sense that he had his hand in things. Like, people think that he was, had his hand in like Kennedy's assassination, which is crazy. Hugo Weaving, that's the guy. Hugo Weaving. Speaking of Kennedy, not to change topics, but very interesting stuff came out today. I guess they released some like unsealed documents about like Kennedy's assassination, and not that I'm a conspiracy theorist at all, even though I do believe in a lone gunman theory. Is that there were these thing about Lee Harvey Oswald, where he met with a KGB agent right before the assassination, and who do I think killed Kennedy? Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy. Now, the mystery to me is not who killed him, but who was behind the killing. So, but some of this stuff's interesting. It's like unsealed, like a lot of unsealed documents got dumped, but like some of the things they went through was, they're part of like memos in this whole investigation. But basically, somebody called from Australia, like a year before Kennedy was assassinated. Warning. I think they called the U.S. Embassy. And again, I'm not reporting this as a journalist. I'm just reporting on the things I read, so I might not be 100%. But he was somebody called from Australia warning that the Kremlin, the Soviets, are going to kill John F. Kennedy. There's a bounty on John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy. The Russians are offering a bounty on him, and they should watch out. Now, this, for whatever reason, this news, this report, I should say, never made it to the CIA. They never got this. They got it after the fact, because allegedly the same person, called right after Kennedy was assassinated and said, "Hey, this person who did this is an agent of the KGB." Now again, this is just in the reporting. This is not like they're not saying that this is what happened, but these are interesting things that came out today. You should look it up on your own if you're interested, because I'm not probably doing a great job reporting on it. But yeah, so I'm looking at this. There was a memo dated November 23rd, 1963, one day after Oswald was charged with assassinating Kennedy. 2 days after the assassination, a tipster called the U.S. Naval Attaché in Australia. That was it, not the embassy. Identifying himself as a Polish driver for the U.S. Embassy in Canberra. And it's unclear from the records if it was the same tipster from a year earlier. But, obviously it could very well be, and the caller reiterated that the Soviets were behind the assassination. The individual, while discussing several matters of intelligent interest, touched on the possibility that the Soviet government had financed the assassination of President Kennedy. And this was a memo from May 22nd, 1964. So these are all newly released documents that came out like over the past day or so. Very interesting stuff. Who is Jack Ruby working for? I don't know, but it's very interesting to me. The whole conspiracy about it, and I as much as I think it's complete nonsense, I think the movie JFK is really interesting. The Oliver Stone movie, it's complete fiction, and I think a lot of it's nonsense, but it's just the deep state's going to silence After Hours. I know. Well, these are public documents now. I'm not saying anything out of school, but I buy it. I buy like that. Like as far as anything else goes, like the mob. I never bought the mob behind. The mob may have wanted Kennedy dead. I never bought that. But what do I know? I've read a couple of books on it and stuff, because I got really into it when I was in high school. I got really into the Kennedy assassination. Records include newly revealed details of Kennedy's death, but fall short of resolving decades-old speculations about the case. Among the revelations in the files was a meeting and follow-up phone call between Oswald and a Soviet operative before JFK was shot in Dallas. According to an intercepted call in Mexico, Lee Oswald was in the Soviet embassy on the 23rd of September and spoke with Consul Valery Vladimirovich, the document said. Oswald called the Soviet embassy on October 1st of that year, identifying himself by name, speaking broken Russian, stating that he was asking the guard who answered the phone whether that there was anything concerning a telegram for him from Washington, and to read the memo, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. But anyway, some really very interesting stuff. So I'm reading as I'm talking here. I'm trying to find that one bit about the guy calling. But yeah, the guy. So anyway, yeah, guy called from Australia a year before Kennedy was assassinated, saying that he's going to be assassinated and that the Soviet government put a bounty on him. And then that information was never relayed to the CIA and thus the Secret Service. Crazy. Yeah, and I agree with Hannah. He definitely had his hand in a lot of things and could have been an agent for more than one group wanting JFK. And I believe that Oswald himself wanted JFK dead. I don't believe he was this hired, assassin or anything like that. Is that true? Johnny Pretzel said your uncle's 8mm footage was seized and never returned by the government. Super 8 footage of the parade. One of the coolest things I did was stand on the grassy knoll and pull up Zabruta film on YouTube so I could find the exact spot. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was in Dallas, and the one thing I'll say about the grassy knoll that was kind of it was very strange. If you're ever in Dallas is a very boring city. That's really interesting, Johnny. There's not a lot going on in Dallas. Shout outs to anybody who lives in Dallas, but it's not a lot going on. But anyway, so the Book Suppository is now a museum, and that's actually very well done. You can go to the Book Suppository. You can go. It's kind of a museum about the assassination, about Kennedy, and you can look out through where Oswald had the rifle, and it's definitely far away, and moving target and everything like that. But I believe he made that shot. And when you go down to the knoll, the grassy knoll, there's a big X in the road, like it looks very weird. There's a how can you find the newly documents? I don't know. I just read an article about the documents, but I'm sure a Google search will lead to them at some point. But anyway, so on the pavement, on the road, on the street, where you've seen the footage of Kennedy getting assassinated. He goes on. There's this bridge. So right before the bridge, there's an X in the road, and it's not like it's an X. It's it's like paved into the road, and it's it's where he was shot. I just think that's such a weird. I mean, I guess it's historic, but it's a weird marker thing, and it's like, wow, that's kind of weird. That, and then also there's people there set up selling pictures of the assassination, selling like souvenirs and shit, like weird things, and I'm just like, man, that's kind of weird. Like that that people are set up with like booths to sell like things commemorating the assassination, and like not for nothing, but the president of the United States was shot here. Is this something that it's weird. I had the same feeling when I went down to Ground Zero about a month after 9/11, and you walk down there. Maybe was it a month? Might have been 2 months. You couldn't get near actual Ground Zero, but like as you walk down, there were all these merchants on the side of the street selling 8x10s of the Twin Towers on fire, selling pictures of people running for their lives in panic. And I remember, like, how the fuck, like, what is wrong with you selling that? Like, it's just, now that, they did away with that pretty quickly. It was very strange. But anyway, I felt the same way in Dallas, like, seeing all that. Like, it's like, you can buy, like, programs and stuff. It was just weird. I had a very weird feeling from it. Just like, whereas it was historic, and you can go in the, like, standing up, the grassy knoll, they call it. It's like this little hill you walk up, and you can see where the footage was shot. Like, you could stand right there and see, like, oh, I could see it. I could see how this was how this was, how this must have looked in 1963. But and I was there on a weekday, like not a lot going on. I forget what time of year it was. I think it was in May, and it was in May actually. Now that I remember, and I just it was just weird to me that people were selling stuff like marketing. Like there was definitely a marketing thing. There was T-shirts, like marketing the assassination of a president, even if it was just like a celebrity. Forget about it being the president of the United States. Still a man, died, and here we are all these years later, and you're selling T-shirts. Like it just it felt icky, you know. But yeah, the 9/11 stuff, that the city must have clamped down on it at some point, because I remember getting into a real heated argument with this like Chinese woman who was selling, and it was like literally stacks of like color photos of the day, like 9/11, like literally like, you've seen the videos of like smoke and dust from the debris, and people running, like literally running for their lives, and there's a picture of it, and probably take, who knows who took the photos or whatever, and then this woman's selling them for like $10 a piece. I'm like, who in their fucking right mind's gonna buy this? It's just, I don't know, it really hit me the wrong way. Yeah, no, forget about politics. Like JFK isn't, you saying JFK isn't your favorite president, but it's just it's fucking weird, And I don't know if we'll ever have a president of the United States, that's friggin' assassinated. I mean, our lifetime. I don't think so. I would like to think there's an infrastructure in place to prevent that kind of thing. No matter who it is, it doesn't matter if you're left or right, Democrat, Republican, or whatever. I don't care what you think about Joe Biden. I don't care what you thought. I mean, well, Trump may be different because I know some people like really hardcore trigger like that. But I'd like to think whoever the president of the United States is, you don't want to see them freaking assassinated, and then years later have people selling T-shirts and stuff. It's just very strange. JFK is my favorite president. The shorter they serve, the better. Yeah, well, right. Okay, with Trump, is like, you figure if anybody in the past, I don't know, 50 years is on the target to possibly getting a, something happening, you would think it would be Trump. But, I would like to think like the Secret Service and everybody has their shit together now. But there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, stuff where it's like, it's like that exit through the gift shop mentality. Whereas again, no matter what kind of museum or something that you go to that you're paying respects to, and it could be something really heavy, there's always a gift shop. You know what I mean? There's somebody selling something, which is just kind of abhorrent to me. Did I forget a black man? I was like, yeah, no, yeah, Obama probably. I'm sure some people would want to take him out to ridiculous, but didn't. Thank God it didn't happen, and I would never want that. I would never want to live through that. And that's why I think I'm so fascinated with the whole Kennedy assassination thing, because 1963, in the grand scheme of life, it's not that long ago. It really isn't that long ago. You know, 50 years, not that long. And I don't know, probably none of us here were old enough were born. Perry was he born right after? So he's November 17th. So it's strange to, like, can you imagine living through that? Can you imagine, like, literally the president of the United States, is just, somebody, it just, yikes. So anyway, sorry to go off on that JFK tangent. I don't know I don't know where that came from. But yeah, it's more, it's just the monetization of tragedy and something like that, like, because and to be honest with you, like, it could be like the city needs to recoup some money. I mean, really, it's like, I don't know, like, it's obviously that road whatever that road's name is, I don't know off the top of my head, is of historical significance. And I understand, like, I even understand the X in the street, and that struck me weird too. But like, I don't know, like I couldn't wrap my head around it. I just thought it was so strange. Just very Oh, I didn't even see this came in. Sorry.
I missed the stream tonight, demons. Tom, can you walk me through what happened, if anything, after the Nitro Dogs sign off? Hashtag tips for Tomb.
Yeah, he started off the stream tonight saying how pissed he was, how pissed off he was, and how that's never going to happen again. And he then segued into how there's going to be no deliveries because he's having his colonoscopy tomorrow, and he's going to also be pooping a lot, which he did, but not as much as I thought he was going to. So that's my brief summary. Thank you. We very rarely don't really get tip comments on After Hours, so I appreciate that. Joe Bob Briggs, I think, lives in New York, Johnny. I don't think he lives in Dallas. I think he's from Dallas. I think he lives in New York City. I'm pretty sure. Have I investigated the theory of George Bush Sr. being JFK's assassin? No, I've never heard that. Is that really a theory? Never heard that. See, you say there was a surprising amount of poops, DJ, but because he was drinking that stuff, he said, he wanted. By the way, he wanted to cancel tonight's stream. Last week, he sent me a text saying that I cannot do the stream next Wednesday. I am sorry. I am having a colonoscopy, on Thursday, and I am going to be shitting constantly. So I thought, okay, well, that'll be interesting. So I mean, I don't know. Was it interesting? Was it interesting having Perry on the phone while he was going to number 2? Because I think I did it twice. There was 2 poop breaks where we actually talked to him while he was shitting, and I wasn't sure how that was playing. I wasn't sure how that was coming off. Was that interesting? Like hearing him. There was one a third time where I was just hearing a little too many details about what was plopping in there, and I was like, okay, let's go to a clip because now it's getting a little too yikes, because I'm hearing like little plops and bloops coming out of his butt. Keep in mind the police report never mentions that Moen Fowler's dead, just that they were in a circle. That's right. Yeah, that's true. Although, if I'm a family member of one of those people who were found at the Camp Moen or Moenstown, whatever it's called, I would probably hire a lawyer and sue the guy that sent those books out that put him in that situation in the first place. But that's just me. My dad literally couldn't stay off the pot when he did that shit. Yeah, my dad too. My dad went through it. I know it's rough. That's why I wasn't trying to be hard on him at all tonight because I understood it. No, I never knew that Joe Bob was on the Daily Show with Kilborn, and I watched Kilborn quite a bit. That's interesting. I thought it was interesting that I got kicked from Discord in 1 or 2 sentences, ironically trying to humanize Perry. That went well. Bullies ate very sensitive about it. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I don't know exactly how you came about it. I mean, I don't know anything about that. But I don't, nobody's kicked from Discord for no reason. It's in fact it's a very drastic measure. There's very few people that actually have been kicked from Discord. You got to be pretty hardcore. So I would have to have the other side of that to say. I know Jeb is the one that had the aspirations, not George W. But one thing when Jeb 2024, give me a fucking break. Jeb, when Trump laid the low energy Jeb on him, that was never gonna not stick. You're never gonna look at him and not think low energy Jeb. And it's true. He's boring. He's a bore. He's a total bore. And George W., who think of what you will of him, at least he had some kind of kick to him. But Jeb will put you to sleep. Yeah, I thought that too, Harry. When Perry was drinking the drink, it must not have been terrible tasting, because I've heard that. I've heard it's awful tasting, but he was down in it like it was water, to the point where I thought, like, "Whoa, did he even mix that? Is he just drinking straight water?" But I guess he did. I simply said bullying and mentally ill isn't healthy. Again, I don't know. If that's all you said, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I would shoot a message to Joey about it. He'll sort you out. Maybe the CIA did get that message from Australia, Hannah. That's true, and you can't trust them. No, you cannot trust the CIA. No, that's true. That's true. Johnny, the producer on Last Drive-In is John Brennan. Yeah, I know. I've seen that credit. No, we're not related. I don't have a brother. So, no. A lot of Brennans out there. Has COVID... how COVID cautious is Perry these days? I recall him being super concerned early days. Yeah, he was like wearing gloves like up until 6 months ago. Like that's like he's very COVID cautious. But not. He's not obscene about it. Like he's not like some people are like really crazy. Like some people act like we're still in lockdown, and it's crazy. And I'm not anti or pro or for or against, whatever. If I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask, whatever. But he's cautious. He's probably more cautious than any of us. Whatever happened to Tim Brennan, I don't know. Those were coming in quite a bit for a while, and then he disappeared. I don't know. But yeah, I really don't to the guy with the Discord thing. I really I'll go in and out of Discord sometimes, but as far as like knowing the ins and outs of everything, I'm not that guy, unfortunately. Out of my office before I was coming back to After Hours with Jesse Ventura. I know we did Kennedy. What's next? Yeah. I will say I don't believe that 9/11 was an inside job. So yeah, yeah. I was very analytical about JFK though. I didn't do any conspiracy things like whatever. I just reported the news as I heard it. What the hell is Discord? I'm such a nerd. I didn't really know about what Discord was either until about a year ago. But it's like a chat community that's kind of made for gamers, but other people have kind of taken hold on it now, and a lot of people use it. It's like a chat. It's like I don't know. See, now I sound like an idiot describing it. Discord, it's a cool place. There's two places you should be in. You should be in the Facebook PCL group, and you should be in the Discord, because a lot of cool. It's just a lot of cool things. There's a lot of subgroups within the Discord, the PCL Discord, and constant chat that's always going on. It's very good, and it's a great community. But that's I don't know. That's my friggin' definition of Discord. Honestly, they didn't kick me, I would have gotten a lot worse, so I won't try again. Okay, again, contact Joey. I don't know anything about it. a lot of people can't. Some people can't stand the Discord. I like Discord because you can go in and out of it, and plus it's a good resource. You know, it's good for messaging and stuff. And even if you hate Facebook, like pretty much everybody does. I don't think even people on Facebook hate Facebook. But I will say the PCL group is a necessity on Facebook. But if you can't stomach Facebook, then the Discord's a close second. That's a better way to describe it. Discord is essentially guilds built on a theme for each community. It provides video chat and text function and operates a lot like a modern message board. That's a much better way of describing it than I did. Yeah. Yeah, so it's cool. There's a lot of cool and a lot of names that you see on here, like in the chat here, are in Discord quite a bit. Discord isn't good for right-wing communities. They will shut you down. Well, good thing the PCL is non-political. I find that with Discord overall, you're saying that the PCL Discord way too many notifications. I find just in Discord period, there's too many notifications. But you can disable them. It's a pain in the ass, but you can disable them. But anyway, I think I should wind down at 8 hours into this. Not 8 hours into After Hours, just 8 hours overall. And it was a lot. I'm surprised I lasted this long because I did have a long day today. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, we don't get political on PCL. PCL is apolitical. And now we may be political outside of our PCL experiences, but PCL itself, including the community, is non-political. It's politics is a road to ruin. We don't get partisan. We don't say this guy's great, this guy stinks, whatever, unless we're talking historical, whatever. But we're we are non-political. It's just not. It's so douchey. It really is so douchey. And I myself, in various points of my adult life, have got caught up in it. And the only time I ever got caught up in politics is when I aggressively don't like the other person, like the person running. And then I'll get playing. And then I catch myself like, what are you doing? This is so stupid. It's such a waste of time. And I feel so liberated not thinking about politics. Like I don't follow, and then maybe I'm ignorant, but I don't really follow every news beat or anything like that. I just don't care. There's so many other things to worry about. And nothing you do, all your hardcore opinions or whatever, they don't mean anything at the end of the day because you have no control over it. So why stress about it? Is my thing. So I just think, who cares? Spend time thinking about other things. It's just so polarizing and annoying. It's just like, I just don't care. I really don't care. Like to the point where I don't even know if I'm gonna vote anymore. Like, and I know people are like, oh, you gotta vote, or is that? Fuck that. I don't agree with that anymore. I really don't. So PCL, there's got to be places in life that you can go to and enjoy. Now, listen, I know you're going to hear from Perry every now and again, and he's going to give his, political vomit every now and again. And it's coming from Perry, so you got to take it in context. But it's just, I don't know. I just think it's boring and it's stupid. And you don't want to encourage certain things. Like if somebody... Because then if you encourage one side or the other, then you're going to get like tip comments or something like that, or media share that's like political, and then that's not fun. It's just, let's all just like hang out and talk about, and especially like After Hours, we'll talk about whatever. We'll talk about Val Kilmer and the Kennedy assassination and whatever else we cover. So anyway. You're welcome, Harry. Harry says, thanks for After Hours. I always appreciate listening to you and reading the chat and rabbit hole topics that come up. Let's aim to make After Hours better in 2022 so I can justify charging you guys as much as I do for this premium subscription that you guys are on. Yeah, vote for Perry. But anyway, guys, good night. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you Friday for Mailbag Friday. And then remember, this Sunday, we're not... there's no stream this Sunday, but you don't want to miss the YouTube premiere of the fake coma stream, which will be Sunday, and then Monday will be another one. I forget which, off the top of my head, I forget which one is Monday. But yeah, that'll be good, and let's have let's have a good thought for Perry on his colonoscopy tomorrow. Please have Perry record his after procedure farts. I hear those are epic. I'll keep that in mind. I can't make any guarantees. Sorry, Shaft. What are you waking up this early for, man? Jeez. Are you going to work now, Shaft? Oh, Spencer's on a train to JFK. Where you going, Spencer? Spencer's the king of the lurkers, if you didn't know. Thank you, Spencer. Have a good flight wherever you're going. Four more years of PCL. Well, God willing. Oh, you're in and out. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to join you and be in and out as well. And by the way, big shout out to Shaft, aka Chaz. He's generously giving me a Nintendo 64 console that he has, that he's cleaned up for me and everything, and I'm very excited to get it and play it, because the Nintendo 64 is it's notoriously difficult to emulate, and it's great to have original hardware. So I'm looking forward to that. He's a great guy, and he's a big help, and he does a great job at moderating, and we all appreciate Shaft. So hi, Shaft, and good night to everybody. Oh, Pat, you're up too. Good night, Pat. Good night, everybody. Good night, Hannah. Good night, Johnny. Safe travels, Spencer. And Northern California, cool. That if you're gonna go to California, either go to Northern California or San Diego. Forget about the rest of it. That's my opinion. Anyway, good night, guys, and we'll talk to you on Friday.